Injured in an accident? You may be entitled to a bigger settlement, up to 3.5 times bigger. Your initial consultation is 100% free, and we don't get paid unless we win your case. No matter the accident, we are here to help. The advocates will fight for you because you deserve clarity, you deserve justice, you deserve guidance, you deserve an advocate. Contact us today.
This is The Monty Show, the truth in sports talk streaming. When you want unbiased opinions about your favorite team without the spin, all you have to do is find The Monty Show, streaming live and available 24 hours a day, 7 days a week on YouTube. And now, here's Monty.
Hey, The Monty Show live Tuesday, July 29th, 2025. As always, we are presented by The Advocates at theadvocates.com. Clear, risk-free advice. That's what you get when you go to theadvocates.com. You know, we see traffic accidents all the time. Our friends, maybe our family, get hurt at work. We don't ever think about attorneys until we need them. Have it on the top of mind, theadvocates.com. They're ready to serve you 24/7, 365, and it won't cost you a dime. See, because you don't pay the advocates unless and until they win your case. So you have absolutely nothing to lose. Get it done right now. Get to theadvocates.com. Tell them you heard about it on the Monty Show. Good Tuesday. A lot going on in this developing story in New York now with this shooting. Alleged that the shooter was targeting the NFL headquarters. It is now claimed that this individual, who was a high school running back, is battling CTE, which is why he may have been targeting the NFL offices as that situation unfolded the last 20 minutes of the show yesterday. I don't know. We've talked about this a lot on the show. Would you let your son play football? I never let my son play football. I wanted nothing to do with it. I was worried about brains and legs and bones, and it just was not I was never going to let my child play football. But if you ever have kids, and I'm not saying you're going to, but if you ever have kids, will you allow it to play football?
No, that's not going to be. I just think it's not worth it. I think that there are so many other sports that you can, make a lot of money in that, the chances of you, making it to the NFL are so slim and none. And I think that, with the advent of golf and, there are just so many other sports now to where they're starting to make major money that the price your body pays just isn't worth it.
Yeah. Who knows if this was a football thing or, I don't know that we'll ever know, but I just think it's worth putting the dot on the I's, crossing the T's, understanding what led to this person's madness yesterday in Manhattan, because I think football is a lot of things. It's not one of those things where, totally, Jesse. This is what a lot of people think. If my kid can earn life-changing money playing the game, absolutely let him play. I don't think it's worth the money. I look at all of the people that struggle. I look at, there's a story on SportsCenter right now about Tua Tagovailoa. Is all that worth it? Yeah, generational money there. But I look at Dave Duerson, Walter Payton. I look at Steve McMichael this year. Like I just look at all of these stories and I say to myself, I don't know that the life-changing money is worth it. That's one of the things that I think is a very fascinating topic. And you talk about CTE and workplace injuries, and this is things you don't recover from. You only get one brain, and it's very difficult when you're a football player to make that brain be healthy. And you look at even just the most mundane odds to the Christian Wilkins Las Vegas Raiders story.
Yeah.
Where he's allegedly cut by the Raiders. What they're saying is for a multitude of reasons that includes him awkwardly kissing another Raider player in the locker room on the head. That doesn't seem normal behavior.
No.
You know, like
Not at all.
And I think about some of the crazy locker room stuff. Like, is Richie Incognito somebody that struggles with CTE? Come on, has to.
Yeah, I mean, I just think the track record, like, there's a million examples, and I think that I don't know what this, I don't know, what the end game for this New York City shooter guy was. I have no idea. Like, obviously, yes, the NFL office, but what was the ultimate play? I don't know, but I think that,
and I don't know that we'll ever know.
I don't know that we'll ever know. I agree with that, and I don't know. I don't know how you stop something like that, honestly. But what I do know is that if you play football, science tells us what it does to your brain, and we know what that damage results in later in life, which is really sad. And I do agree with the sentiment that people have the power to make their own choices, and it is up to them. But I would not allow my kid to play peewee football or any of that nonsense. I would be, I would have a golf club in their hand, not joking, probably as soon as possible. Literally as soon as possible.
I see. That's much more like and baseball. I'm good with things like baseball. Listen, my kid's never going to be a football player. My kid's never going to be a boxer. But does my kid want to do jujitsu? Sure, you're going to get punched in the face and kicked in the head. It's probably not going to be my first alternative for you, right? Like there are just things we know. And again, can we rationalize the irrational of what happened in New York yesterday? Probably not. Probably not. But I look at this situation and I say to myself, yeah, I feel pretty confident that if this cat has CTE, that's not something that I am going to be in favor of. I just can't imagine a situation where we're going to be able to just say, oh yeah, no problem. Let's just let this continue. Like I'm a big believer that training in jiu-jitsu is different than being an MMA fighter. And I just am, I just feel terrible for the people impacted in New York. I feel terrible for the tragedies that we've seen across college and professional football based on brain injuries. Like it's one of those things. I just wanted to plant that seed. Like, would you let your kid play football? Knowing what you know today.
I didn't even want to play football, honestly. Like I was
and people were lean because you've always been a big dude.
Mm-hmm.
And you're in high school, your coaches were on you to play football. Right. They were on you constantly. So I think it's interesting. And I think it should be noted that he left a note. This shooter in New York yesterday left a note mentioning the NFL, mentioning CTE, and asking for his brain to be studied. And then he obviously took care of his own business to be tactful. And he was found not in the NFL offices, not on the same floor as the NFL.
Right.
So I just think it's one of those things to think of. Greg Hill, walking off the field of my last college football game, I knew my body was done for. I did not want to be a cripple like some of the NFL guys. It's terrifying. It's terrifying. Like it just, Travis, did he preserve his brain? That's what he asked for. And I'm certain I have to feel like it will be. Consent is important if you're Christian Wilkins, right? Lopes fan Gabe, good afternoon to you. Let's go back to the top of the stack. Shout out Mike Smith. Mountain Mama. Dana Marie, hello. Dana, how are you? Good to see you as always. I appreciate your comments.
I have a question for the comments section. How long is it going to be until we get a new account titled the Wolf of Waco?
The Wolf of Waco.
The Wolf of Waco. I'm waiting.
You're obsessed with this.
I'm waiting for someone to take the responsibility of owning that account name. I need that to happen on this show.
Wolf.
Yeah,
So, Jake is quickly becoming obsessed with the word wolf.
Wolf of Wall Street.
Which is different than wolf.
Right.
Because only a psycho would say wolf.
The Wolf of Wall Street.
Instead of wolf. But like, I'm just chilling at the cut this morning, doing my work, going through my day. And Jake's like, dude, you got to listen to the spite of us talking about wolf.
The Wolf of Wall Street.
Like Chrome Dome's lost his mind. Chrome Dome's gone. It's now the Wolf of Waco,
The
period.
Wolf of Wall Street.
That's it. Like you're all about it now.
Yeah, dude.
Okay.
That was an iconic clip out of The Wolf.
I would agree. Welcome to the nightmare. Man, you guys are going to have a tough year. Man.
Oh, UCF.
Is there anybody that believes in Scott Frost? Because
No.
I don't. Nacho Libre. Whose Libre is it then? If it's Nacho's, who? Okay.
The Wolf of Wall Street.
Yeah, it's the Waco Wolf. Sad Face says was two pants hello. Don't be like Rhett. Shut up and hit the like button. Exactly.
Yeah, seriously.
Right. Big Blue Horses. Farewell to the greatest Chicago Cub of my lifetime, Ryan Samberg.
Bro, it's rough.
Yeah, he
That's
had
rough.
a huge impact on my life. Ryan Samberg, the Hall of Fame second baseman for the Chicago Cubs. I talked about this many times. Rhino was the second baseman of the Chicago Cubs in the early 80s and really through the 80s when I was growing up a massive baseball fan and a Cub fanatic. And I idolized him. I batted like him. I played second base because of him until I got fat. And then, of course, they moved me to first. But it was everything about him that was special and unique. And you rooted for him when he was a manager, and you feel like he never really got a shot as a manager. And Ryan Samberg died of cancer yesterday after a protracted fight. And it just hit different. My dog, my late dog was named Rhino after Ryan Samberg. Like, it just hit different. And cancer sucks, dude. It really does. SMU does not deliver Dallas. What it says on the front of their jersey, though, Jesse, it says Dallas. What do you mean?
Dude, you guys are savages.
It says Dallas.
Bro, that's your first comment.
Oh.
SMU does not deliver Dallas.
Mr. Preston. Hello. Mr. Preston, I got a new car, dude. I got a new car. You played a role in it. Mr. Preston, the Monty Show mechanic. Phenomenal on the tools.
Mm-hmm.
Although I do need paint touch up on the Beamer, Mrs. Monty's Beamer. So, good afternoon, casuals. Happy Taco Tuesday.
That's right.
I could go for a delicious taco right about now. You mean like a Mexican taco? Dude, I had amazing ground turkey, 93.7 ground turkey with corn. Oh, man. Bro, the extra long colon put out today. So I'm feeling good. Tomorrow, this is something we have to talk about because we have to talk about Fat Luca on the show today. What?
Thank you.
My name is Luca.
Yeah, you're the same guy. Yeah. Oh, I just threw in some extra cardio.
What's up, big bro?
Yeah. Cardio is what trimmed this fat ass down, right? Yeah, cardio.
Stay hard.
It's called the pen, Luca. Just admit it. Tomorrow is Knuckle Deep Day on the Monty Show because I have my annual physical tomorrow.
Janus.
And I'm hoping, knock on wood, that because I have no reason to believe I have any health issues. I'm hoping that, like every other year, he's going to be like, "Hey, you're in great health, but you're fat. Why don't you try losing some weight?"
Timothy.
You fat ass. Why don't you try losing some weight? Right? Like, that's what my doctor legitimately says to me every year. "Hey, man, amazing. Your cholesterol numbers are great. Your BP's great." I have no, knock on wood, I have no health issues. Right? Like, nothing. I'm not Donnie. I don't have bruised hands and fat legs. Right? Like, I'm in good shape. He says to me every year, you should lose some weight. It started with, you should lose some weight. Hey, have you thought about losing weight? Hey, fat ass, have you thought about dropping a few pounds?
I don't know.
Last year, he asked me, it's funny, Jake was asking me before the show, like, "Hey, do you have a goal to lose weight?"
Right.
And I said, well, I have a boiler, right? Like, I want to lose weight in my midsection. And he's like, "Well, hey, I can write you a script for Wegovy." And so when Fat Luca dropped on the show today, You know, we were talking about, like, should we bring up Wegovy and GLP-1s on the show? And it's absolutely something I'm going to talk to my doctor about tomorrow.
Yeah, I mean,
For certain.
Look, I think that the big thing with this, and we'll get to sports at some point, but you know, it's our show. We talk about what we want here. So, you know, I do think with this process, you know, this decision between, you know, using products like Wegovy, obviously there's several different ones, but
Right.
those kind of products versus just a natural cut, basically. I think a lot of what goes into that decision is how much you want to lose. I mean, there's a big difference between, hey, I want to drop a quick 25 over the next 2 months or 3 months.
Yeah.
Versus, hey, like I want to goal myself out at, you know, whatever number you want to use, like 70 pounds or whatever it is.
I'd love to get down to, you know, 260.
Mhm.
I would love to, but that's like 60 pounds. Like I would have to dramatically kick up my cardio to do that. Because I already eat pretty well. We were auditing our diet. We eat almost no saturated fat ever. Like, I don't eat, when I eat steak, even the once every 2 months I have a steak, it's a lean cut, right? So I don't really eat saturated fat. The only saturated fat I get is, like, we go on picnics up in the mountains sometimes on the weekends, and we'll get sliced cheese. We'll get some sliced cheese. That's the saturated fat I eat. I don't eat a lot of sugar at all. I don't drink soda. I don't drink calories. Generally, you guys, know I drink the white can of Monster, 0 sugar in there. It's really the only thing that I drink calorie-wise.
And that's where I say, like I think that that's why I'm saying, like, I think it would be really smart to be like, okay, this is, whether it is, if, 260 or whatever the number is, right? Whatever you want to get down
I don't
to.
know what the number would be.
Yeah, but like, let's just say you picked a number and you were like, hey, this is going to be my goal, and then I'll reassess. I think if that number's more than, 60, 70 pounds, like if you're someone that's trying to cut, like for people who are trying to lose, like, 100, let's say, is a round number, I think Wegovy is a reasonable tool. I do. But here's the deal with you, just me knowing you. It's not hard for you to cut. That's the thing.
It's not at all.
And I think that what makes the conversation a little bit more complex for you is that you actually do like to work out. Like Wegovy and all these other products were marketed at people who, didn't like to work out, or easy button. Exactly. Like, just, hey, take this, it'll cut you down. But the problem is, now that it's been out for a while and it's been studied, the issue is that it starves you of calories because it takes away your appetite. It's an appetite suppressant, so you won't eat as much. And so what that ends up doing, though, is that ends up eating your muscle and the fat. It just cuts you down all the way. Yeah.
And the thing I don't like about it is that you, go through bowel changes.
Yes.
And without being specific, I am as regular as a clock.
Right.
Every day about 8:30 in the morning, just loggage, dude. Like, I have a really healthy digestive system.
Yes.
We joke about it, but like, I don't, knock on wood, I don't get food sick. I don't get food poisoning.
It's extremely rare for you. In fact, I would say the only time I've really seen you get food sick was on that dry aged steak. Yeah. Which is a
several years ago in California.
Yeah, very specific instance. And
that's the last time that I had loose bowels.
Yeah.
Was like 4 years ago.
So to me, not to be like gross about it, but I do think that has value. Like to me, like, you're like, like, you're regular, like you said, your body's trained, you have rhythm with it.
Well,
like it's good.
And the other issue is I was reading about this today because my physical's tomorrow, and I know he's going to ask me about a GLP-1, which is what that class is called, is you also gain back about 35% of that weight.
Right.
And we talked about this last year when he mentioned it to me.
Yeah.
I don't want to drop 50 pounds and gain back 20. Like, I'm not interested in doing that.
And I don't even know that it's necessarily like, yes, obviously losing weight would be ideal, but I think the other side of this too is like, because you like to lift, like it's more of a composition conversation,
Yes, no
versus a
question.
number conversation. And I think that, if you said to me, hey, well, my goal is to get down to a certain body fat percentage, let's say, and then I'm going to combine that with lifting and just keep doing all the things I like to do.
Yep.
Like for me, that's one of the things I think about in your scenario, because like, let's say you said yes and you were taking it, but it did affect your bowel movements and all of that. Like we just talked about Dion yesterday and all the struggles he has. Like that's gonna like what if I said to you, hey, like you're gonna start taking this and it's gonna affect how you golf, you're probably not gonna be real inclined to take it.
I'm not.
And so that's where it's like, hey, because your checkups tomorrow, those are the things that I would be asking is like, hey, these are all the things I like to do.
Yeah.
And I'm not trying to stop doing them. Like I don't want those things to be affected. And I certainly don't want to go through my day-to-day dealing with this stuff because I already have enough to deal with.
Yeah, we'll see. I'm very interested to see what my doctor says tomorrow. We'll talk about it later in the show as well. I don't mean to belabor. I'm sure you guys are bitching about, oh, look, it's Oak State James. I won't send any pics of the smaller schools tomorrow. I'll see Virginia Tech, Virginia, and James Madison. Can I send those?
No, you can post them on your social media and on YouTube.
Yeah. Like, why do you have to send pictures to Jake? This is, and if you're, I swear we're going to rip Rhett Lashlee here in a second. But before we get to not Dallas, Oak State James loves to tag Jake in photos of stadiums.
And he'll also DM them directly to me.
Oh, he does?
Oh, yeah. He
Why?
sent me like 4 yesterday.
Why don't you just post it on your social media?
Yeah.
Like that, I just out of curiosity.
And I'm not trying to be mean, dude. It's just one of those things where it's like, that's the essence of social media. You have something you like to do. You take a bunch of pictures, post it to your social. And if I want to go look at it, I will.
Well, and you guys were dating at one point.
No,
I mean,
we're not.
What do you mean?
No, we weren't.
What do you mean?
That's just not true.
Well,
Shut the fuck up, Donnie.
Well, what? You told him on the show you loved him,
Brother.
right? Like, okay, that's too much. Oh, look, it's the Wolf of Waco.
The Wolf of Wall Street.
God, I love you for doing that. If James uploaded to his social media as much as he sends Jake's his photos, I'd probably follow him. Yeah, you probably would. James just wants to bond with Jake. I think he does, Jeremiah.
Ding dong.
Oh, wow. Okay. Yes, Vod Tech, Virginia, and James Madison stadiums. Post them on your socials. Wolf says, I wanted to change my name anyways. This was just too funny to pass
The
up.
Wolf of Wall Street.
And donuts. Maybe James can sing Enter Sandman. Maybe he can. Brother. Whoa, Timothy O'Hara, you said what? I'm 360.
Mm-hmm.
Ooh. And my doctor wants me to get to 220. I would love that, but it hurts to exercise because of the arthritis in my joints. And it all depends on you being 360 and me being 360 would be two totally different things. I'm 6'4". I have wide shoulders. Like I'm just a big dude. Right. So I
don't think it's an easy decision.
It's not.
I think that
it is not an easy decision.
I think that you are lucky because you like to be active. Like you as a person enjoy, like, it's not like, yes, you golf a lot, but it's not just the golf. Like if you didn't golf, you would work out a lot.
Yeah.
Like us have always done things that were, physical activity in nature. And so I sit here and I say, I personally don't think you need to take it. What I think it has to be is a commitment to being heavily fasted, right? Like you or in a deficit. I mean, not fasted, in a deficit. Yeah, like with doing the cardio, being in a deficit, and making sure the calories you eat are high quality. That's how you do a cut, and it's not easy. It's hard.
Yeah,
like legitimately, it's difficult, and I just don't think that if you're someone who's active, like for me, like, yeah, I would love to lose probably 40 pounds legitimately. Like that would be a nice number. I would never do Wegovy. Not that I'm in a place to do it, but
Yeah.
I just, for me, like, I enjoy being active. Our day right now, 5 days a week during the working week, doesn't really dictate a lot of activity. And that's the challenging part. But if I said, hey, like, I'm going to spend 6 months, like, going to the gym 5 days a week, golfing on the weekend, getting diet in check, like, I would lose weight, and I have no doubt about that.
But it is I think one of the things you got to remember is that it's very difficult. It's very difficult to have discipline and lose weight.
Yeah.
You're not going to lose weight on discipline alone. Discipline is a fallacy. It's a fugazi. It's not real.
Yeah.
Right? It's not a real thing. And whether that's in your life, in your work, in your nutrition, hey, I'm going to be disciplined and go to the gym. Well, you know what? I was supposed to go to the gym this morning, chose to sleep till 5 instead of 4:30, right? Like discipline's not going to get it done. And I think that's the hard part. Oak State James, I want to share it with the people on the show. Post it on your social media, and then the people on the show will go look at your social media. Sending it to Jake ain't going to get it shared on the show.
Yeah.
Timothy says, I'm so fat, I'm glad I don't live in San Diego. They may push me back to the water. Jeez, guy, go easy. Two Pants, James will post his pics for Jake to see in the rectory. I've heard that. Phil Benzer, James must be lonely. Eric Wasikowski, home gym is amazing to have.
Yeah, it's definitely luxury.
And I have all the home cardio equipment, and I use it. Like, my wife is such a better person than I am. Like, we have a Peloton bike and a Peloton tread, and she's on them both pretty much on a daily basis. Like, the girl is a monster. So she had her physical today. So I'm waiting to see her and I. Is this sadistry that we compete for who's got the better cholesterol, A1C numbers, like the triglycerides?
To the point where she got pissy about it for several years.
Yeah, because listen, and everybody always says, well, you're fat. Okay, I'm healthier than you. It's genetics, it's DNA. But I also do 1,001 things to bulletproof that. I eat oats every day, probably 300 times a year. I probably have 300 half cup of oat meals a year. So what is that, 150 cups of oats a year? Because I eat half a cup of oats with 4 to 6 ounces of berries every single morning. And I take collagen peptides. I take, you look at creatine. I take plant sterols, CoQ10, like magnesium, B12. I take all this stuff to make chia seeds. You think I love chia seeds? They're pretty much tasteless, but I still put them in my oats every day because they're really good for you.
Yeah.
You have to do that stuff now. And it's why younger and younger and younger and younger, we're talking about people in their early 30s having colon cancer now. They're talking about 30 years old, you need to get a colonoscopy every year. Right? Like, and now it's not, okay, have a good colonoscopy, see you in 10 years. They're talking about every other year colonoscopies for millennials now. Have you ever had it? You haven't had a colonoscopy yet. I'm telling you, man. It's brutal. James, it's over between you and Jakey Two Shake. Stop dropping your IPF porn in his DMs. See, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. Let's see you do some cardio, Monty. I do cardio pretty regularly.
Yeah.
Like, I'm never going to be the guy that runs a marathon. I hate steady, long runs. You give me 20 minutes on a Peloton, fine. You give me 30 minutes on a 2.0 uphill walk on a treadmill, fine.
I much prefer HIIT training over steady state. I like the like, I'm perfectly fine doing a walk jog. Like, I'll walk, jog for as long as I can, and then I'll walk again when I can't jog anymore.
Yeah, it's great. And that kind of cardio is really good for your VO2 max. So it's worth it. Anyway.
Yeah, so that's what I'm saying. Like the point is, not to get too deep in it, but the point is that I just don't think that your lifestyle dictates taking Wegovy. I think that you have enough in your lifestyle to where
Hmm.
if you switched your regimen around just a little bit, not switch it, but just like tweak it to be more cardio focused with some strength training mixed in, you would see more exaggerated results than you see now.
I need an hour every morning to do 30 minutes of weight and 30 minutes of cardio.
Mhm.
And it'd be 3 days a week lifting, 2 days a week stretching, and 5 days a week doing steady state cardio.
Mhm.
I don't know. I don't have that in the morning. I don't have the time. So it makes it very difficult. But we'll see what he says. My inclination is not. I don't think that I would do Wegovy.
I will say though, to that point, just because I obviously know your day as well as anyone, you have the luxury of having, like you said, some of that equipment at home.
Yeah.
So that also, I think, adds to the, hey, I wouldn't take it. I would abuse your treadmill and your bike. That's what I would do. I would do everything you can, even though it sucks. And, and I think what you'll see, you're somebody who once you start seeing the results, though, you get motivated and you start going after it a little bit
It has
harder.
to be my regimen. It has to be what I take my vitamins every night and every morning at the exact same time. I eat breakfast at the same time. I go to bed at the same time. I wake up at the same time. I'm just that guy. And if I don't do that, I won't remember. I won't remember. So, it is what it is. Weight machines are overrated. Dumbbells are better. Depends on what you're doing. There is no question that triceps and shoulders are two areas of your body where cables are. Cybex machines are fantastic for overlapping muscle groups. Like,
I just think they have different values, honestly.
Yes.
I actually would disagree that dumbbells are better or even that cables are better. I actually think that it has two different purposes. The stability of like a machine versus cables versus dumbbell has two totally different. Like if you have a bum shoulder, let's say you have shoulder weakness, but you still want to train shoulders, well, use a machine because then you're not asking your shoulder to work stability.
It's bench press.
Yeah.
The dumbbell bench press versus a barbell bench press.
Yeah.
Are two completely different.
Versus a Smith machine.
Yeah, they're two completely different modalities of lifting weight.
Yeah.
A barbell, and it's why you see, like when we were lifting 5 days a week, on our chest days, we would do barbell flat right into dumbbell, incline dumbbell.
Yeah.
Right? Like, there was a time 2 years ago, I was looking at my memories.
Mhm.
2 years ago, I was easily bench pressing 225 and 100-pound dumbbell in each hand.
Yeah.
Easily. That's wild.
I almost wonder too, like, and I'm not educated enough in, calorie burning and all of that and best practices, but I know that there have been studies done, and you've told me this, where it's like, hey, when you're lifting weights, obviously there's a recovery factor, so your body's going to burn more calories, but the mix of like doing what you like to do and what you normally would do, and then adding, cardio just to that, I wonder what that would do. Yeah,
weight training is a 24/7 calorie burn, right? Like it is, because there's always muscle repair going on, muscle growth. There's this genetic process that happens. Cardio is in that moment, expand your lungs, expand your heart, pump more blood, train your heart so it can pump more efficiently. It's just a different thing. It burns a significant level of calories right there in that moment.
Mhm.
But it's also why you need to combine the two, because when you do things like, long form cardio, it eats muscle.
Yeah.
So you need to be weight training, and there's a whole science behind it, So start hiking Park City. We already do that. So Toot Pants, machine weights concentrate on specific muscles. Dumbbells use collections of muscle. Well, and it doesn't matter if you don't know what good form is. You have to keep that in mind. Like there's a whole thing. Weight machine. I already read that one. Monty, do you walk the golf course? Occasionally. We were talking about this with Bandon Dunes.
Yeah.
up in Oregon. Bandon Dunes, you can't use a cart, and it's a hellacious walk. It is, you have to have a caddy and you have to walk.
Mm-hmm.
So the issue is not, how am I going to get cardio in? The issue is getting cardio in. Want to.
It's a desire thing.
Yeah, it's difficult when you work 16 hours a day, frankly. And, it just is what it is. Monty has a secret slim good body unitard he wears around Mrs. Monty. There you go. That's exactly right. It just, I don't mind like walking, dude. That's what I loved about going to Chicago, Boston, Seattle. Like there's nothing I enjoy more than walking all over a city like that. It's not, I think people don't understand that. It's not about, can I walk 10 miles? Can I run a 5K? I'm not in this to prove a point. I'm in this to outlive Father Time, right? Like I'm in this to live to be 150. Long-term health is what we're talking about. So it's something that you find when you are able to do something consistently for a long time, which is a big strength of mine. Where I'm able to program, like I've taken vitamins every day for 20 years now. It's because it's in my routine, right? I have no idea how I quit soda cold turkey. Made a huge difference, right? It's habits, man. Yeah. It's habits. That's what it is. I love mowing the rectory lawn, toot pants. Somebody's got to keep it tidy down there,
Right.
Bailey Dietrich, treadmill for cardio. Yeah. Yeah. Stadium guy, James, I read Atomic Habits and then had a salad every day for lunch. I went from 217 to 175 today. The salad at lunch is not why you lost that weight. What are the other habits that you built around that? Salad is not going to take off whatever that is, 25, 30, 42 pounds. That's what you got to figure out. But it is what it is. All right. Enough of me being fat. We'll talk about it more at the end of the show. Let's get into SMU football coach Rhett Lashlee. I don't understand if the SEC sucks so bad, and maybe somebody needs to help me with this. If the SEC is such a fraud, because we hear that in the comment section on this show every day. The SEC is a fraud. Nobody cares. Like it is unbelievable how many people will tell me the SEC sucks. This show's an SEC homer show. Nobody cares. They're not deep. The Big Ten, the ACC. If the SEC is so damn irrelevant and it sucks so bad, why is everybody talking about the SEC? Help me understand. Why is everybody in college football obsessing over the SEC if it's just this damn irrelevant? The latest example is Rhett Lashlee, SMU football coach Rhett Lashlee. And I'm going to play a bite for you here in a second. But what business does SMU football coach Rhett Lashlee have coming out, as we told you last week, talking about how the SEC isn't deep, how the same 6 teams win championships, as though winning a championship is just an afterthought in every league? We've got all 16 of our teams winning championships, which we all know is absolutely not, in fact, the case. If the SEC is such a dead weight of college football, Jake, why is everyone obsessing over it?
Because the reality is it's not a dead weight. I think that the conversation here is Rhett Lashlee is doing, in my opinion, a wonderful job of walking the line here. So, goes to ACC Media Day, talks all the junk about the SEC, and then, has built sort of this reputation of being the younger guy in the room that's advocating for SMU and by extension advocating for the ACC, and wanted to try to use, historical facts and like talking about how the same 6 teams have won the league for like 30 years or whatever it was. Like the reality is that everyone is talking about the SEC because what everyone knows, including Rhett Lashlee, including Mr. Google Me, Kurt Signetti, they all know is that the SEC is, in fact, the best conference, which is why they're talking about the SEC. And I think by extension, what they also know is Greg Sankey is the most powerful figure in college football, not Jim Phillips, not Brett Yormark, and certainly not Tony Petitti. And I think that the where the rubber meets the road is that Rhett Lashlee is saying things like, a 10-2 Miami definitely was one of the best 12 teams in the country, which I think there's definitely an argument to be made one way or the other, depending on how you feel about it. But the reality of the situation is they're not talking about that the SEC had several teams that didn't get in that were clearly better than Miami, played a better schedule, had better strength of schedule, in fact, had better losses. And no, I didn't misspeak. They had better losses than Miami had because that's absolutely a factor that the CFP committee, considers.
Yeah, and I think Rhett Lashlee has an obsession. I do think he and everybody else is obsessed with the SEC.
And there's no question that these guys took to their media days to go after the SEC. We saw it in every conference.
Yeah, here's Rhett Lashlee at ACC Media Day obsessing over the SEC.
Again, I don't think it's up for discussion. It should be 16. More is better. Now, I don't think you got to go crazy over that because it is football, but we saw last year what the playoff can do. On-campus games, fantastic. Everything it does for our game. More exposure, more access, creates more fan bases and more people involved in the season throughout the year, more conferences. When it comes to our league, it should be talked about more. It should be easy. I just shed some light. I mean, there's only been 3 leagues win a national championship that have teams in their league right now since 1990. All the teams that have won a national championships in 1990 are either in the ACC, the SEC, or the Big Ten. Since I mentioned in the last 15 years, we're tied for the second most championships with 3 with the Big Ten. I don't know why that's not talked about more. We have national brands. We've won championships. The revenue is almost double who's fourth. We have our own network, the competition, the investment. I just think it speaks for itself. And so most people want to see things decided on the field, so let's let it happen that way. I don't think there's any question that if it stayed at 12, we're every year a multi-bid league. I mean, Miami should have been last year at 10-2. There's no question they were one of the top 12 teams in America.
But are you? But are you? I guess that's the thing that I don't believe that the ACC is one of the best leagues in America. And when we say America in the power, it's not. I think it's the SEC and then a big fall off, Big 10, Big 12, and I think the ACC is third.
Do you believe?
And I think Rhett Lashlee knows he made a mistake because today Rhett Lashlee went on the Paul Feinbaum show.
I will differentiate from what I said with what Signetti said. Again, I just brought up a historical fact that can be backed up by data. I didn't come out and throw shade at the SEC scheduling when I didn't play a Power 4 team on my schedule myself. So I think, look, it's hard to win in college football, and I think all 4 major conferences, it's hard to win week in, week out. There's no easy wins. It's easy for people to say on a Saturday, oh, this should be an easy win for them. Maybe, but it's like the NFL, right? The margin between the best team in the NFL and around 30 is still isn't that far. And so the SEC is again, a league I have a ton of respect for, just like I do the Big 10, the Big 12, and the ACC.
Okay,
you have a funny way of showing it.
Yeah, here's where you're wrong, dude. The college football is very different from the NFL in the sense that the best team is actually 2 to 3 times as good or better than the worst team, right? Like Alabama or Texas, the best team in the SEC right now, let's say. Call it Texas, right? Is miles, a decade ahead of Vatech. Or
SMU. I look at
whoever.
And we're going to talk about this in a while. LSU and Texas, in my opinion, are the 2 best teams in that league this year in the SEC. There's not, in my opinion, a team in the ACC, and that includes Clemson and Florida State, that can stay with LSU and Texas. I think they are that good. They are that farther more talented. They are that much better coached. And we saw that the minute SMU ran into a quality football team in the playoff. What happened? What happened against BYU in Dallas? Yeah, they got their ass beat. They got beat by good football teams. They ran the table against a bunch of teams that aren't very good. And yet you want to go to ACC Media Day and say that the SEC isn't deep. You want to go to ACC Media Day and talk about how, you definitely want 16. You don't want 16. You're either being a red ass when you say you want 16 teams in the playoff. you're either being a red ass or you are completely off base about the SEC. Because if this goes to 16 and a 5-11, I'm telling you now, that's all in favor of the SEC. Because if it goes to 5-11, I think we're all well aware it's going to be a strength of schedule, and your record against P4 opponents, that's going to determine who's in and who's out. And there's nobody, and we've talked about this on this show repeatedly, and I'm happy to put up the graphics that Greg Sankey provided. There's nobody that can compete with this. You look at the gap, you look at the fall of the number of teams outside the top 50 in the last 10 years, it's 2. It is 2. And then you go looking at the strength of record, and it's not close, bro. It's not close. And yet, who's at the bottom of these lists? Yeah, that'd be the ACC. So we can sit here and we can fantasize about who's what, and we could talk about narratives. That's all well and good. Nothing, and to your point, Rhett Lashlee, nothing is going to change the data. The SEC plays a better schedule than you do. You're not nearly as talented as the top half of the SEC. And we can sit here and talk about, Ohio State, Kirk Cignetti, and we can say, oh, well, put the 4 or 5, the playing game, and do it here. And that's all well and good. Kirk Cignetti and SMU, what do you guys have in common? The fact that as soon as you ran into a real football team, you got your ass beat.
Ohio State.
Right? Ohio State and Notre Dame last year. How did that go for Kirk Cignetti?
Ohio State.
Yeah, not well. Not well. How did Penn State go for SMU last year? Not well. Right? Like, we can all talk about this stuff and we can fantasize about it. We can forearm strength into it. Let's all do that. I'm happy to live in fantasy land. But the reality sets in when you go to a 5-11 and Kirk Cignetti wants to say, oh, don't get it wrong. We all want 16. You don't want 16 because it's all fun and games when we could talk about it with nothing on the line. But when it's 5-11 and the game on the field actually matters and your strength of opponent actually matters, good luck to you. Good luck to you, Rhett, because when that happens, you're going to be irrelevant. You're going to be invisible because I'm telling you again, you look at the 10 best teams in this country. What's the argument? SMU or, oh, that's right, SMU's not in the conversation.
Do you guys remember the score of that game?
It's LSU in Texas.
Did you guys remember the score of Penn State SMU? Like, I think people have forgotten the absolute ass kicking that Mr. I want a new airport closer to the facility handed out to SMU.
Yeah.
38-10. Not competitive. Not competitive. So forgive me for being the guy, who's like, hey, bro, you can sit here and, faux apologize on the all SEC show with Feinbaum. But that doesn't get over the fact that just because you get to the CFP doesn't mean that you're somehow one of the best teams.
And again, I'll play this fight again with Rhett Lashlee, the head coach at SMU, on the Feinbaum show. I don't even think he got close to an apology. In fact, I think he doubled down.
I will differentiate from what I said with what Cignetti said. Again, I just brought up a historical fact that can be backed up by data. I didn't come out and throw shade at the SEC scheduling when I didn't play a Power 4 team on my schedule myself. So I think, look, it's hard to win in college football, and I think all 4 major conferences, it's hard to win week in, week out. There's no easy wins. It's easy for people to say on a Saturday, oh, this should be an easy win for them. Maybe, but it's like the NFL, right? The margin between the best team in the NFL and around 30 is still isn't that far. And so the SEC is again, a league I have a ton of respect for, just like I do the Big 10, the Big 12, and the ACC.
Hey, that's great. He doubled down.
Mm-hmm.
He doubled down. What's up to everybody on X? Thanks for watching the show. We have a lot of people. Today's been a particularly booming day. 53,000 people currently watching us on the X platform. Good to see you. Make sure that you get the link up in the bio here to our YouTube channel, The Monty Show, MONTY, The Monty Show. Come on over to YouTube, hit subscribe, give us a thumbs up. If you're watching on the X platform right now, please consider hitting the like button, giving us a retweet. Always appreciate that. If you're on YouTube, thank you as always for being here. Make sure you hit the like button as well. Where do you guys come down on this? I know that there's a lot of SEC show haters on this channel, SEC conference haters. So where do you come down on it?
And by the way, I don't blame people for hating on the SEC. I also think this is a small portion of the conversation. Like, it's okay to hate on the SEC.
Yeah.
But I think that you just have to be mindful when you talk junk about the SEC, making sure that it at least is backed up by fact. Like, the next time someone comes into our chat and is like, oh, well, the Big Ten won the last 2 national championships. Like I can debunk that all day long. I can get around that all day long.
Yes.
And the reality is, when you look at the economics of college football, it's not even necessarily who wins the national championship. I mean, it would be great. Obviously, that's an awesome thing to accomplish. But what really are we talking about? We're talking about the number of teams in totality you get into the CFP, and that is why the ACC and company want a 5-11, because they feel like, hey, Miami would have got in. And it's also why, on the flip side of the coin, the Big Ten has been such a pain in the ass about the 4-4-2-2-1, because they just want guaranteed bids because they play a soft ass schedule.
And listen, before I get to your comments, we need to have a conversation about Tim Pernetti, because I think there's a real chance he is failing the Big Ten with this. So kind of chew on that for a second. Wasikowski says Michigan goes 10-3. The Bucks go 11-2. So are we passing out the ayahuasca on the route today? Eric Wasikowski, is because you look at the let's go with Michigan, right? And again, because the NCAA blows, we still don't know what their punishment's going to be. But Michigan's schedule is incredibly soft. So not only do I agree with you that Michigan could go 10-3, should go 10-3. New Mexico State on the cock, at Oklahoma, Central Michigan, at Nebraska, Wisconsin, at USC, Washington, Michigan, at Michigan State, Purdue, at Northwestern, Maryland, Ohio State to end the year. I think that is, if you don't win 10 games, do you fire Sharon Moore? I mean, because obviously you have the greatest rookie quarterback who we've ever seen in college football.
Right.
If you listen to Michigan fan.
Right.
Wow.
Man.
If you don't go 10-3, do you fire? I mean, he's
probably not.
Sharon.
Let's be honest, probably not.
You're not gonna. And the chances are you're probably gonna go. I think you could win 8 games. Be 8-5. I think that's more likely.
Yeah.
Big Blue Horse says the best way to shut up the critics is consistently win on the biggest stages. Greatness doesn't need to be told how great it is. And the SEC wins. That's exactly right. Mike Smith, going down to Rosedale, going to take my rider by my side. Okay. Monty all hyped up on the enemas in preparation for tomorrow. No.
Enemas.
Bro, my enema is a half cup of oats. That bowl of oats I eat every day. My God. I said, God damn. Dude, I'm telling, today was an epic day. The extra long colon did its job. Jesse Crum, SMU ended last season losing 2 in a row to ranked teams.
Yep.
They did. And Donuts, bottom line, Texas, Oklahoma think the SEC is a cut above the Big 12, in fact, while the ACC is backfilling with bottom feeder pack schools. I heard. Yeah, that's the ticket. It's the wolf of the rectory says it's not that deep, bro. It's not that deep.
The Wolf of Wall Street.
I've heard that. Double down on the Dookie. That's what I'm saying.
Double down on the Dookie.
Double down on the Dookie, boy. Joshua Oates. Everyone is just envious of the SEC. It does
Stay hard.
feel that way, doesn't it?
Yes.
It does feel that way.
Yes.
It does. Toot pants. I would contend there are 3 layers, good, mid, and bad, that, quote, teams out of the top 50 is informative about which conference has the fewest bad teams. I want to see an average number in the top 25. And again, again, I will just leave it to Greg Sankey to answer that question.
Whether people want to agree with it or not, that's up to them. We can go through the analytics and show the rigor of our schedule is different than anyone else's, period. And we had a learning session in September at the CFP about strength of schedule, and strength of schedule isn't everything, but it is an important factor. I remember very clearly one of the messages was, if you play the top-ranked team and the 130th ranked team, those two games average out to 65.5. If you play 65 and 66, they average out to 65.5. And so the advisor said, you're just as well playing 65 and 66. Here's my problem. But for maybe one, maybe two teams in a year, we don't have 65 or 66, and everybody else has a group.
I mean,
Point taken.
Wrong. He's not wrong, dude.
Point taken. And again, I continue to echo his other point. It's not easy. Change is scary. Change is difficult. Why did Gonzaga turn down a bid to the Big 12 and go to the Pac-12? Because they didn't want to work hard.
Gonzaga.
Why is Florida State in the ACC and not the SEC? Bobby Bowden straight up said, we went to the ACC because the road to the championship was easier.
Facts.
Change is hard. Rhett Lashlee doesn't want to acknowledge the fact that he joined the ACC at the exact right time when Florida State, speaking of long colons, took a dump on that conference last year and couldn't beat anybody. Utah joined the Big 12, took a dump on that conference, couldn't beat anybody. Speaking of couldn't beat anybody, Mike Gundy. Like, you look at these conferences, and every conference is top heavy except the SEC.
Mm-hmm.
And I will again continue to remind you, just because you have the last national championship in Ohio State,
Mm-hmm.
that's not exactly why you're the best conference in the world, because you're not. And I agree that the Ohio State championship was the single best championship we've ever seen. And that's one of the best teams that we've ever seen, especially in the modern era. But that doesn't make the Big Ten the best conference. Right? I don't recognize Michigan's championship. You're a bunch of fraud cheaters. You've won one championship. Even if the fraud cheaters had legitimately won it, which they didn't. Like, okay, you won back-to-back championships. That means you have the deepest conference?
Sign stealer guy.
No, that's not at all what that means.
Yeah, and I think that it would also be really good at some point for college football fans if we defined when a conference is top-heavy and when they're not. And in my opinion, you leave the top-heavy discussion when you've got 5 teams every single year that are in the CFP conversation.
And I just go back to, Shouty. Look at Texas. Texas left the Big 12, went to the SEC.
And everyone said, oh, screw Texas. Texas is never back.
Texas ain't back.
Send their ass to the SEC to be terrible.
Got a great call against Arizona State. Right? But that was still one of the best teams in the country last year. Still one of the best teams in the country this year. But they're going to have to run into Alabama, right? No. Oh, well, it'll be Georgia, right? No, SRT's out of gas. But LSU's going to be there because I think LSU is arguably the second best team in the country on paper right now. Brian Kelly, and I know this intimately well, unfortunately, right? I mean,
Hugh Janus.
And he is. And he is. That cat knows how to get you to the top of the mountain. The problem is he just can't stay there. He gets you like right there, like you can almost touch the championship trophy, and then somebody walks up and stomps on your balls.
You're so fucked.
Not somebody. Manti Te'o's dead girlfriend stomps on your nuts, and you wind up getting blown out by the Sabinator.
Yeah.
Right? Like, roll tide. As I'm well aware of.
Roll Tide!
And then Brian Kelly starts talking in a Southern accent, and everybody hates him before the job even starts.
You're filling in for somebody.
Yeah, here nor there. My point is, Brian Kelly couldn't beat Nick Saban at Notre Dame, and now he lives in his shadow at LSU.
Dude, Buddy is the king of mediocrity, bro. That's what Brian Kelly is.
And I think that's harsh. I think that's harsh. I think, yes.
He doesn't have a natty.
Right. But what I didn't say he's the king of winning championships. He's the king of getting right there. Right there. And then he can't finish the job. He's Steve Sarkisian.
Okay.
He's Steve Sark. Sark is right there. And he can't fit.
Let me
Lincoln
give you a better
Riley.
one.
Lincoln Riley. Right there.
James Franklin.
Well, cock on thigh is a little different than these other guys.
James Franklin and Brian Kelly are the same dude.
Brian Kelly's a better coach than James Franklin.
No.
Yes, he is.
No.
Brian Kelly. Brian Kelly doesn't put up with sexual assault in this program.
Okay, off the field, it's a little bit different of a conversation.
Brian Kelly's a better man than you are.
He's a better man than you are, even with that crappy ass accent.
Exactly right.
But James Franklin
Creole and
is
shit.
constantly in the CFP, dude.
I agree but I don't disagree with that at all. I truly do not disagree with that at all.
Don't you bring that USC poser Lincoln Riley into this conversation.
But the guy gets just far enough, but not far enough.
Speaking of cock on
right?
thigh,
Let's
he
talk
lost the dude last year.
Let's talk about just the tip. That should be Lincoln Riley's new nickname.
I have to play a little game called Just the Tip
at USC football, right? Like, hey, what do you hey coach, just the tip over here, bud. Right? Like that's
present.
We should probably move on. My point is there's a bunch of dudes that are excellent coaches. But was Lincoln Riley ever Bob Stoops? No.
And I'm a vampire feeding off mass disappointment.
Right? Lincoln Riley is I don't know, pick your Steve Sarkisian, pick your guy.
The Wolf of Wall Street.
Well, he was certainly not Jordan Belfort. I mean, they drank the same amount. But is Steve Sarkisian Mac Brown? Is Steve Sarkisian...
No, I think after this year's run...
Was Steve Sarkisian ever Pete Carroll? No, he's not. These guys are right there. Who's going to break through? Because I think Sark and Brian Kelly, they're the two best teams in the SEC, in my opinion.
Well, who also have you not brought up, though, out of the SEC? Your boy out of the SIP.
Lane Kiffin's another guy.
Lane Kiffin, dude. Lane Kiffin, bro. At what point does he break through? Because he's been waiting.
Of this list of guys, so cock on thigh, Lincoln Riley, Ohio State. Like pick your mediocre coach who talks way too much. Rhett, don't call me Rhett Lashlee at SMU.
Google me.
Like, yeah, pick your guy. Who's the mediocre coach that breaks through into Ogeron land? Because wasn't that at Ogeron? Always the underdog, always the bridesmaid, never the bride.
What about Buddy at Florida State? Mike Norvell. Got to talk about him, right?
Not after last year.
Yeah, but like these guys have bad years, right? Like Davos had some bad years.
Okay, then what do you say about Mike Gundy?
Mike Gundy's not in this conversation. Mike Gundy's not even competitive in terms of the CFP. See, we need to delineate, right? Lincoln Riley in his career has shown us the ability to coach a team to get into a championship conversation. He's shown that ability with regularity. He went to USC. It's been a struggle.
Yep.
This year, I do think there's a chance that could change because of the funding and the investment in the boosters. With that said, I do think that James Franklin is the best of the guys to never win a national championship, only because he's in the CFP damn near every year. Now, he loses damn near every year, but he's in the CFP. I don't have to wonder, hey, are you capable of getting shares out of the CFP for your conference? He does that with regularity. And that's the hard part, is that Sark, since joining the SEC, obviously has done that, right? Like Texas has been there.
Yeah.
But Texas wasn't there before the SEC. So it begs the question, okay, well, does that mean that Sark is above Lane Kiffin? Yeah, I think it does.
Oh, this is a great. What about Kalen DeBoer? What about Kalen DeBoer?
I would say that Kalen DeBoer is ahead of Sark and ahead of Lane Kiffin, only because he's already shown you that he can get to a national championship.
But so has Brian Kelly.
Yeah.
So is Brian Kelly.
But
trust me, I was there.
How long has it been?
My balls have not recovered from that beatdown.
That was pre-pandemic.
1960. I think it was 1962. Like, I want to say that was 2019. Wasn't it 2019? Brian Kelly, Notre Dame versus Alabama. Something like that. I want to forget it. I don't want to remember. But
21.
21, excuse me. Okay, even better. right? Like
Okay,
it's recent.
More recent than I thought.
Yeah.
I thought that was like 15, 16.
Yeah.
That's my fault.
John Hamm, didn't BK send an ND student over a super windy day? Well, let's not talk about the accident. Yes, there was some of that. No pedo state. Exactly right. And Donuts, hello. Bill Belichick is my guy. He scores in more ways than one. Hey, man, listen.
Bro, come on.
She's a professional.
Yeah, I'm not talking about that.
It's something. I don't know what. Pat Narduzzi figures out how to outscore his cover 2 defense. Pitt breaks through, in my opinion. Okay, keep telling yourself that, kid. Listen, just move to the Philippines already. Thailand? The king of Thailand.
I don't know, man. I don't want anything to do with Brian Kelly. And I agree. Yes, he's shown the ability. Yes. But for me, I'd rather have Sark. I'd rather have Lane Kiffin. I would rather have Kalen DeBoer. Yes, I would.
You'd rather have Lane Kiffin than Brian Kelly.
Yeah, I would. Yeah.
Bro, you're making me defend that flipping.
Dude, what? Dude, I'm telling you, man.
God. Maybe I should just maybe I need the enema Mike Smith talked about. There's not a chance, and nobody wants to tap that on Lane Kiffin like I do. Okay, like I like Lane Kiffin.
Sucking a ding dong.
A lot. I have Brian Kelly every single day over Lane
No.
Kiffin. Yes.
Come on.
What on earth has Lane Kiffin accomplished as a head coach that would put him in front of Brian Kelly? You out your goddamn mind.
What has Brian Kelly done since joining the SEC? Oh, that's
Okay,
right.
now
Absolutely nothing.
Now I'm going to have to break out stats, and I'm going to have to punch you in the groin with stats, because he actually, outside of I don't know, winning a whole bunch of games, I would agree the guy hasn't won championships.
That's not what we're talking about.
Right? Bro, 10-4, 10-3, 9-4, won the West.
Nobody cares about the 9-4,
second in the
though.
West, tied for 4th. You said he had one bad year, right? Like he had one bad year. And like to win, do you guys understand he's 29-11 at LSU and it's not good enough?
He's an afterthought.
Yes, he is. 92-39 at Notre Dame, and we ran his ass out of town. Frankly, went to a national championship, and we ran his ass out of town.
I'm not saying the guy can't win ball games.
34-6 at Cincinnati, which ain't Ohio State, but it's not far from Columbus. They're both Ohio and Columbus and the Chilean stuff. 34-6, 10 and like, are you out of your? The guy is 292 and 107, and we want to put Lane the Kiffinator, who's married to a 27-year-old,
sucking a ding dong.
God bless him. Lane Kiffin can't hold a groin cloth to Brian Kelly.
Hold on. Go back to the top real quick.
What?
Put that picture on the screen right there. Look at that picture right there.
You'd hit that. Yes, you would.
Bro, dude. This picture is ridiculous. It's a Wikipedia picture of Lane Kiffin, bro.
What is wrong with you?
Dude.
What is wrong with you? There it is. That's Lane Kiffin. No, I'm kidding. Here's Lane Kiffin. What is it about that picture?
Dude, it's just a terrible photo of him, bro. That is not his best work.
Well, all I can say is his best work's not on par with Brian Kelly.
Come on.
Right? Like 28-15 in 4 seasons at USC is not good. 26-13 in 3 years at Florida Atlantic. 44-18 at Ole Miss.
Mm-hmm.
Never won the West.
Mm-hmm.
He's not even in the same league as Brian Kelly. No, they are. They're both in the SEC. Don't you? As a coach, he's not even in the same stratosphere.
You take that hack, Brian Kelly. I'll take.
How is okay?
I will take Lane Kiffin.
You're being a jackwagon. You're making me defend Brian Kelly, you son of a bitch. Like, do I want to sit here and defend Brian Kelly?
Brother.
I'm a Notre Dame fan, and you're making me defend Brian Kelly.
You. Fuck you. You suck.
Right? Like, I'm a Notre Dame fan with 56,000 people watching a talk show, and now they all think I like Brian Kelly.
The biggest load that we've seen.
And it's your fault they think I like Brian Kelly.
Well,
you're out of your mind. No chance. The Wolf says, I can just hear Mr. Kiffin saying that if I bring 5 people into the organization, I get a bonus. Yeah, exactly.
The Wolf of Wall Street.
God damn. Fat Jesus, that's a 1990s J.C. Penney portrait. Hey, Mom, look at this tie in the J.C. Penney catalog, Mom.
Look at that thing, bro.
Can I get that for my confirmation in the rectory with Father Oak State James?
No.
That is such a J.C. Penney catalog.
Holy crap, dude.
Oh, how many of you are old enough to remember the Sears catalog? Oh, my God. Oh, my God. And Donuts Lane looks like Will Ferrell.
Yeah,
okay.
Yeah, there's a little Will Ferrell there. I'll give you that.
Yeah.
Little bit.
Listen, you guys, okay. No. Brian Kelly has proved himself a lot more than Kiffin. Thank you. That tie is
fuck up, Donnie.
That tie is damn near the color of James.
Yeah, right? Look at this. Look at the synergy here. Look at this. Look at that. Right?
Oh my God, that is so good.
It's very close, dude.
It is very close.
Hey, 2 holes.
Like, that's unbelievable, dude. Like, oh my God. The Wolf says he just got a package marked fragile after expecting a bowling out. Like, listen, man. Yeah. Whatever. Vanity plate for Mrs. Monty. I'm with the jack wagon. Exactly.
Right.
I mean, it's just anyway. The Sears catalog was used for wiping the leftover logs off the cheeks. Okay. You do you. Hey, Lewis, what are you looking at the Sears catalog for? 21 times a month, bro. Hey, what kid didn't run home in anticipation of alone time with the Sears catalog lingerie section? Huh?
Dilly.
Huh?
Would you, Quintus?
Would I? Yeah. Toot pants. That's not Lane Kiffin. That's Monty's GI doctor greeting him for his skull. Oh, dude, I'm telling you that, and I think I've told this story on the show before. The whole colon cleansing experience, the colonoscopy, was not good for me because the first prep didn't work, so I still had a whole bunch of shot in the extra long colon. The second day, because what they do is they put you to sleep, they shove that thing up the rectum, rectory, and it's full of stuff. And so they're like, hey, wake up, fat ass. You got to come back tomorrow. Here, drink some more of this concoction.
Right.
And boy, did I unload.
It's internal.
Oh, man. It wasn't internal anymore. 2 days later, after eating Jell-O and crapping myself, I went back, and it was clear as you could have shot a bowling alley down that street. Thankfully, it was perfect. No polyps, nothing.
Yeah.
Other than that, it was amazing. Double down on the cleanse. You're a better man. Dude, I did. I now know when I go back, because it won't be until 2033 that I have to get another colonoscopy. So life is good. Save all the rectal questions for the end of the show. My bad. Sears sticky page catalog. Could be. Dude, prayers for Capazzo's rectory. Exactly. Fat Jesus, is the tie 4 inches long or too short? Too short. There's no question.
Probably.
There is no doubt. Joey B, oh my God, the Monty cleansing process, dude. If you guys haven't listened, and he won't listen to me. Jake will not take my advice on this. If you are in your 30s, go and get a colonoscopy. Go do the research. It's online. Go absolutely have a tornado run up your rectum, because I'm telling you, you need to get a colonoscopy. It got to do it. Got to do it. I unloaded just off the Ducalax, let alone the Miralax and Gatorade Punch. I had Miralax. I think to clean me out, it took 4 bottles of Miralax and like 8 Gatorades.
How unpleasant was it, honestly? Was it as unpleasant as you thought it would be? Or
No.
Was it worse? Or better?
No. The problem was I kind of knew that I hadn't, how shall I say, emptied the chamber in like during the first round of prep. I was a little worried about it. The worst part is you can't eat. You're eating Jell-O.
Yeah, you felt like ass, dude.
Yeah, you're eating Jell-O. I lost 13 pounds, like, because you're eating Jell-O. You are everything comes out, but it didn't happen until like I wound up doing, I think, 5 straight days of prep.
Mm-hmm.
So all I was doing was eating green Jell-O and drinking Gatorade and Miralax. The second round of Miralax, dude, like it all came out. And that's the hardest part, because then you go into the you go in for the procedure, they knock you out, and then they wake you up. My problem was like the lady straight up said to me, "Hey, we had to get physical with you because we had to roll you over because you're cold." Like the lady says to me, "Hey, if you're a little sore, we apologize. We had to get physical with you because you have an extra long colon. So we had to kind of push your side." And no, she's like, "But the good news is you were crystal clear. No polyps, no issues, nothing. See you in 10 years. Signed the chart, walked out of the room.
Damn.
Dude. But when they told me after the first one, like when they woke me up from the first colonoscopy and they were like, "Hey, we couldn't do it. You weren't clear," is what they tell you, which means you had a bunch of in the
You weren't clear.
You were not clear. Oh, it was brutal. And again, 57,000 people watching the show. I'm talking about my butthole.
Oh man,
If you're new to the show, welcome to
love
it.
This time of year, bro.
Welcome
You
to
have
it. Yeah,
love
nasty
this time
work.
of year.
Yeah, spraying mud. That's one way to put it. But drinking the stuff isn't bad.
Yeah, because that's what everyone says they're terrified about with colonoscopies.
No. Yeah. Monty license plate, chamber not empty. you know. Monty not cleared for takeoff. I wept when the lady woke me up after the first one and said, "Hey, we're going to have you come back Thursday." I'll never forget it. She said, "You were not clear. We're going to have you come back Thursday morning."
Bro, what are you talking about, man?
And it was fucking Tuesday. And I had been clearing clearing the pipe since like Sunday.
Okay, so you drink the first dose, right?
You
the
drink
first
it.
dose, and how long was it until it started happening?
6-7 hours.
Damn.
The first time around, 6-7 hours. And then because you drink it in cycles for like, I think 2 hours.
And the portions are like a bottle of Gatorade, basically.
Essentially.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it wasn't bad at all to drink, but I knew because it wasn't happening. Nothing was happening.
So you were just waiting. You were like, dude, what's going on?
And then I got home from the first procedure and did it all over again. And dude, bam. Like it was, Publishers Clearinghouse. Exactly. That's why he was out from his team. Okay. Chocolate batter all over the porcelain throne. Okay. I get it. Please, Monty, I'm eating. Sorry, my bad. I'm just saying, same reason I ain't sporting a Speedo. Blow till you're clear. Exactly.
I guess.
Joey B, oh my God, I'm crying laughing. Monty and his colonoscopy, greatest segment here in a long time. Dude, you guys, in all seriousness, go get a colonoscopy. Get a physical every year. I get mine the first week of August every year.
Do you know what that's like these days?
And go get a colonoscopy. Cancer sucks. Yeah, that's exactly right. I'm just telling you. Phil Venzer, can we have a video on it, please? No. You don't want that.
There's not a chance.
You don't want that.
No.
Real quick, who's the best team in the SEC this year? Because while we're talking about colonoscopies, you can only talk about Brian Kelly. You're going to ride with Texas?
Yes. I just think they've earned that, dude. Like, it's not like they had a bad class.
Right. No, not at all.
And the hype around Arch is obviously massive. And I think he's got the right attitude about it. So, I mean, honestly, I think that, like, Brian Kelly's got to show that he can actually go out and win the big ball games, because he hasn't. I mean, I agree that he's got stats. He's been to a national championship game. Like, obviously the guy can coach, but I don't believe that he's proven in the SEC that he's, one of the best coaches in the SEC.
I think I think when you start looking at Garrett Nussmeier and you say to yourself, who's got the best quarterback in the SEC? Doesn't Nussmeier have to be in the conversation?
Yeah.
I think the one thing that you're in danger of at Texas is Arch Manning living up to and exceeding expectations. I think that's a huge thing.
Well, how do you mean? Like, whether he would or wouldn't?
I think the issue is that Arch Manning has enormous expectations on top of him. And when I look at LSU, you're getting what, 65% of your production back in return. Texas is getting 51%, so half their production walked out the door, right? Like, you're getting 40% of your offense back. Now, you also have one of the best defenses in the entire country, right? I mean, if we look at what's really good with LSU, I mean, it's Nussmeier. And we're going to find out very early, because LSU goes to the SIP on September 27th.
Mm-hmm.
So we're going to know, right? And you look at the way that LSU kind of bears out, their weaponry is nothing short of spectacular. And I think that if they average 8.5 wins, that's a 10-win team. If everything falls into place. Garrett Nussmeier, I mean, you look at Aaron Anderson or Xavier Thomas, or, I mean, look at Nick Anderson from Oklahoma. Like, that's lethal. He may LSU, and I know, again, this is crazy with Arch Manning and Austin and all the weapons that they have there, because they're incredible. And that defense, again, I'm just going to say that defense is unfreaking believable. I think you look at Texas, and it's going to be very close between LSU and Texas.
Mm-hmm.
And I know that everybody's going to side with Texas. I'm telling you right now, LSU is going to make that a very interesting conversation. And I think you're probably right. You should lean Texas on July 29th. October 1st, you might damn well be leaning LSU.
Yeah. I would agree that LSU is, going to be really good. When you talk about what coaches have to prove, Stark still needs to prove that he can make the right call in a big game, right? I mean, I think that they were again, it's the infamous you're one call away against ASU. So that to me is one of those things where it's like, hey man, like Stark and that coaching staff need to get a little bit more consistent, and they need to get better at executing the game plan when that opportunity is given to them. But I guess I don't doubt Brian Kelly's track record, right? Like, obviously he went to the national championship game. Like, he's got the record. Like, I get all that. But if you said to me, hey, well, who would you take, to win the big game, to win a big SEC game early in the year, my vote's not going to be Brian Kelly, because I just don't think that he's that guy. And I say that only because he has lost a ton of huge games where he had seemingly the better football team. Did they come through? No. And I think in the SEC, while we're sitting here talking about other conferences and comparing it, like in the SEC, do you not get your true colors shown like early in the year? Do we not get those big losses early in the year to seemingly national championship contenders who, really should have won that game? We do. And That's what I think made the legend of Nick Saban is he didn't often lose those games. You didn't have, a situation where you had to ask, Alabama just lost early in the year. Like, what's their year going to look like? Last season was the first time we've had to ask that question. So I just think that when you look at LSU, yes, you got a good quarterback, got good skill position. Theoretically, you've got really good talent to compete. But when you get to game day and it comes down to that situation, I need to see Brian Kelly prove that he's got the right play call, that they're ready to execute, and they're ready to get the job done. This was the Ryan Day discussion for how many years?
Yeah.
Right? But here we are. Now he's got a national championship, and you're not asking that question anymore.
Yeah, I don't think you're giving his offense. Brian Kelly does a lot of things, you guys. I think we'll find out. I look at the depth chart. I mean, Barry and Brown, Aaron Anderson, Nick Anderson, that offensive line, I think we all would agree that offensive line is going to be spectacular.
Listen,
Xavier Thomas is a backup.
I don't think it's a talent conversation. The guy can recruit his ass off.
Yeah.
He's always got talent. But isn't that the crime with Brian Kelly?
It is.
Hey,
it always
has
been.
All the talent in the world. You're wearing the clover on your chest. You're at LSU. You're here. You're there. Like the indictment has been, hey, you have an overwhelming amount of talent and you couldn't figure it out. It's the SC game from last year in the Raiders Stadium.
Yeah.
In Las Vegas to start the year. That game was like way wilder than it should have been.
Man, I forgot how good Texas is on offense.
Mm-hmm.
Holy shit.
So my
like
point
you
just
look
is
at Moore,
like,
Mosley, Wingo, Quintravian Wisner is a running back. CJ Baxter is the backup, right? And then, forget about Colin Simmons is probably the best defensive player in the country. Hill, Simmons, January, they got a few guys who can strap it on in Austin.
Guys.
Yeah, I would think right now you're leaning Texas, but my God, I am so ready for football. Mm-hmm. I am so ready for big games. Maury Alvarez, good afternoon, Maury. Good to see you. Hope the fam's good. Kelly doesn't have ED, but he does have big game winning dysfunction.
Right.
Okay. I like it. Brian Kelly, he does kind of run hot, doesn't he? He always has the rosacea working and, Texas defense can carry this team this season. I don't see Ewers walking down the tunnel at all this season. Can Texas stop anybody? Oh my God. Can you guys, if Arch Manning wins the Heisman Trophy, will they lose a game?
No. Nope.
Because serious question. If
he wins the Heisman Trophy, if he plays that well, they're not going to lose. They're not.
Yeah, I would agree with that. It's agree with that.
It's going to be difficult for them to lose if he's playing that well.
Yeah, I think, yeah.
And I don't think there's any reason to believe he shouldn't play that well. He's had time to sit behind Quinn. He knows the playbook. He has been in the moment. He was put right in the middle of the fire last year against Georgia. And, it didn't look amazing, but I think, a lot of expectation there, a lot to ask of a kid to just step in against the best defense in the country or one of, Ohio State, obviously, but
Ohio State,
I just think that Texas is positioned to have a big year again.
Yeah.
And it's only because you've got a dual threat quarterback, in my opinion, whose mobility is game changing. I think Nussmeier is a great quarterback, big arm, great leader, everything you want. Not quite as mobile as Arch, but still mobile.
Oh, I don't think there's any doubt at their best. Arch Manning should be a better quarterback.
Yeah.
I think, you're not even, you're exactly right.
But see, then that brings me back to, okay, well then, if Brian Kelly's got has enough weaponry to beat you, because
he does.
Because winning a football game isn't just about the talent, right? So like if you're LSU and you're Brian Kelly looking at, playing Texas or winning the SEC, we all know what this comes down to, which is it comes down to a play here or a play there. And sometimes those couple of plays look like pick sixes, and sometimes those couple of plays look like a tackle missed or here or there. And that's where I say, like, no, Brian Kelly's not that far away from winning the SEC, but But my God, the next time he has a bad sequence of play calling on defense, let's say, or the next time that they have bad clock management to end a game won't be his first time.
Dude, Texas's defense is so deep.
Yeah.
I mean, it's scary. Honest to God, dude, I don't even know how you compete. Now, again, I'm not telling you to write off, for instance, Alabama, because Alabama is no slouch. I mean, I'm very curious to see if Ty Simpson, Austin Mack, like who's the next star quarterback at Alabama, right? But you're always going to have, when you have Ryan Williams as your number one, doesn't Ryan Williams make Bernard and Horton better wide receivers, right? Doesn't he make Alabama's defense, which again I think with Rashad, Jefferson, Lawson, Brown, Saab, Hubbard, like aren't they better defensively because of what Alabama should be able to do? They're not going to be as good as LSU and Texas. Georgia, and again, I think I understand I'm stupid I had a Georgia fan go off in the comment section the other day because I said Gunnar Stockton's got to prove himself. Yeah, big old 17 head's got to prove himself, right? Like he's got to prove that he can do something other than throw interceptions against Notre Dame. Mm-hmm. He's got to prove himself that he can carry the football team. And I don't think he proved himself. And again, I understand that.
But what choice do they have?
They don't have another choice. You're not going to play Ryan Puglisi at this point. No. You're not, because I think he's probably their second best quarterback. But I also think they're another team that's got, Raylan Wilson is going to be, I think he is going to be a generational linebacker in that system. And again, they put him out, right? But they're not going to be as good as Texas and LSU, right?
But my point is around the coaching thing.
Mm-hmm.
LSU is good enough talent-wise where they can beat these teams. They are absolutely good enough to beat these teams.
Certainly.
And that's where I say, I look at, we didn't know, the world didn't know what we had in the Joe Burrow LSU teams, right? We didn't know just how good those guys were overall.
Joe Burrow.
And that's why they came seemingly out of nowhere at LSU with those teams. And I look at the recruitment of Joe Burrow at that time and what it took to get him and the circumstances that took place at Ohio State for Joe to go to LSU. And that's where I say,
he was an afterthought at Ohio State.
Yeah. And Brian Kelly, my question is, who is your Joe Burrow kind of talent? Who is your guy that nobody knows about that's going to be a breakout and then go to the NFL and be one of the best players in the league? That's my question, because in my opinion, that's what it takes to win in the SEC. You can't have, look at Kalen DeBoer. I'm sorry, Jalen Milroe. You were not good enough to lead your team to an 11-win season. You were not. Because in the SEC, you don't get to just run around all over the place, and that's good enough.
And he played for a guy that put some guy named Big Penix Energy in the NFL.
Yeah,
right? So, he knows how to coach quarterbacks. But again, I look at Texas and Ohio State. We're going to find out how good Texas's defense is right out of the gate, dude. Are you kidding me? Jeremiah Smith, Carnell Tate, who I have a love affair with. I think Carnell Tate has a chance. I think Brandon Inniss has a chance. Mm-hmm. And it's going to be that offensive line and Julian Sayin stepping up and doing it quick. And you also got to replace some really good running backs. But I think they have the best player in all of college football and Caleb Downs, right? I think that defense.
Then you've got two of the best players in college football.
Well, but that's Ohio State. That's what they do, right?
Yeah.
I think we're going to find out who Texas is, because I think Ohio State's the best team in the conference. I don't even think there's natural. That's exactly right. Ohio State always has a QB good enough to rock with the weapons they have. Because when you have a guy like Jeremiah Smith and Carnell Tate, and they've probably got 6 legitimate wide receivers who could start on every other team in the league.
Mm-hmm.
And one generational talent in Jeremiah Smith. And I think Carnell Tate's a number 1 on a lot of teams, right? So you're exactly right.
But Carnell Tate, with his build, is a beautiful number 2 for Ohio State.
Yeah.
Beautiful number 2.
Yeah, I don't disagree with that at all.
Yeah.
And Donuts gives 5 Monty Show memberships. Appreciate you and Donuts. Good to see you as always. Minnesota, Michigan State could have surprise seasons. I think Minnesota is wildly untalented. Again, Michigan State is building. If you know anything about college football, you can see that Michigan State is building. What is Minnesota building? This is a legitimately serious question. You look at guys like, isn't Drake Lindsay I think he's a redshirt freshman. He's a freshman. That's a defensive league. I don't care if you're Maryland, Rutgers, heck, Ohio State. You got a really good defense. So I always look at the quarterback and their number one wide receiver. Right now, off the top of your head, number one wide receiver at Minnesota is, you don't know either. Right? And I'm telling you, I think their defense is better than their offense, and I don't know that their defense is going to be able to compete with most of the offenses in that league. Because I start to look at Oregon. There's a lot of unknowns about Oregon, right? If Minnesota is going to be a surprise team, is Minnesota capable of beating Oregon? If they were to run into each other, Dante Moore, Novosad,
biggest question marks in college
and
football.
I think Austin Novosad is a guy that a lot of people expect to get reps this year. And we'll see, right? We'll see. But you look at his defense, and there's not a weakness up front, in my opinion, at Oregon, especially against the second-tier teams. I think Minnesota's going to have a really, really difficult time.
Yeah,
in my opinion. So it is what it is. I think it's a fascinating discussion, and I'll be interested to see exactly how all that plays out. Are the Cleveland Browns going to cut Shedeur Sanders? Let's talk about that in 30 seconds after this from the Advocates.
You're not just a case. You're not just a client. You're a person, and you deserve support. You deserve simplicity. You deserve communication. When you hire an attorney, you deserve clear, risk-free advice that guides you to the best possible outcome in your injury case. And that's exactly what the Advocates have been providing for over 30 years. After your accident, you deserve closure. You deserve compassion. You deserve peace of mind. You deserve an advocate.
Yes, you do. The Advocates at theadvocates.com, the best injury attorneys in the business. You guys, you get in an accident with a semi-truck, you get cut off on your motorcycle. They understand how to handle motorcycle clients. And I understand that those of you on two wheels are very particular. They get it. They understand your culture. They understand your lifestyle. That's why you go to the Advocates. They operate with not only professionalism, not only do you get an unbelievable high level of representation, but they also operate from a position of empathy. They understand what you're going through because they've seen it, they've fought for it, and they've won it. Already, you can count on the Advocates to give you clear, risk-free advice, and you never reach into your pocket to pay the Advocates because you don't pay unless and until you win your case. Talk to an injury attorney 24/7, 365 at theadvocates.com. Shedeur Sanders. I'm struggling with this. I'll be honest with you. I follow, you guys know I follow the NFL very closely. And here's what I don't understand about Shedeur Sanders. What else are you asking him to do besides not speed and get tickets? He's been an excellent role model as a football player, right? The guy has trained hard. He has not complained. He has not talked about being the number one. In fact, he has told people that's not my concern. All I can do is make the most with the reps that I am given, and I appreciate every rep that I get. He's handled himself excellently. He has been phenomenal when they give him the football in camp. Threw 3 touchdowns 2 days ago, threw another one yesterday, moving around in the pocket. The accuracy we saw at Colorado is played out in camp. Why are the Cleveland Browns so hesitant to give respect to Shedeur Sanders? And it's not just the coach, the general manager. It's Jimmy Haslam, the owner of the team.
They told me, so you picked him on Saturday, right? Friday night driving home, y'all are going to pick Shedeur. I would say that's not happening. But We had a conversation early that morning, and then we had a conversation later that day. I think we had the right people involved in the conversation. At the end of the day, that's Andrew Berry's call. Andrew made the call to pick Shedeur. Just like who's going to start or what play we're going to call is Kevin's call. But that's Andrew's call. He made the call.
I mean, you just had the owner saying that he didn't want to pick Shedeur Sanders, right? Am I crazy?
No, I mean, that's what he said.
That is exactly what he said. And I don't understand it. Like, it is, I just don't get it.
Well, I think Jimmy has, shown himself to be not a great decision maker. I mean, I think we all.
Yeah, his picks at quarterback have not worked out.
Yeah. So, like, I'm really not surprised to hear him talking about, Shedeur in this way. I think that Jimmy is a guy who just, loves to spend money, doesn't know who to spend it on. And frankly, I just don't think knows how to win. And I think part of not knowing how to win is identifying good talent and bad talent. And clearly, Shedeur is someone that, I think most people would agree fell further than he probably should have. I think being that late in the draft is kind of crazy, frankly, for a guy his talent. But there's also drama around Shedeur, and I think Jimmy is shown to be a guy that made a huge mistake with Deshaun, and then
made a huge mistake with Baker Mayfield.
Made a big mistake with Baker Mayfield. And, now I think is probably very risk averse when it comes to the quarterback position and, bringing any type of drama back into the organization, since there was so much with Deshaun and not just with what Deshaun was doing off the field, but also with the nature of that contract being fully guaranteed. And so now you're in a situation where, I think that he's very much that guy that just says whatever's on the top of his mind, right? I mean, he's not someone that like is great with the media and is savvy and tactful in what he says as the owner of the team. I mean, he could have very easily said, yeah, like that wasn't our plan initially, but Shedeur became available and, it's Andrew Berry's decision. And so we went with him. Like you could have much more have said that and had a more, positive approach to it than I would have never taken him. Like, come on.
I think it's hard to argue with what he's done on the field. I mean, the guy has been absolutely spectacular in camp. And that's not to say that, Dillon Gabriel hasn't been great. He's been great. Joe Flacco, he's going to start. Kenny Pickett's injured. But Shedeur Sanders has been arguably the best quarterback in camp, not throwing to the number ones.
Mm-hmm.
He's throwing to the 2s and 3s. And in 11-on-11 and 7-on-7 yesterday, he's got 2 and 3s out there. He's throwing them open against the number ones. Like, he has been that good. And they're going to wind up cutting or trading him, in my opinion. Like, the writing's on the wall. When the owner says he didn't want you, tough to kind of hang on to that.
Yeah.
Right. I think it is very difficult what Shedeur Sanders is going to have to go through. And I think he did the right thing. I don't know how many people heard that. Shedeur Sanders told Deion not to come to Brown's training camp.
Right.
He told him to stay away because he didn't want the circus. And I think that's exactly the right thing to do. Exactly the right thing to do. So we'll see. I hope at some point Shedeur gets a legitimate shot to win a job, because that's all he's entitled to. If you're going to bring him in, give him a legitimate shot to win the job. I don't think that's happening in Cleveland, because he'd be the number 2 quarterback right now. You're going to start Joe Flacco, as you should. He has outperformed Kenny Pickett, and I think he is even in ahead based on, if you listen to Cleveland sports radio and you read the blogs and stuff, it looks like he is even or slightly ahead of Dillon Gabriel, because Dillon Gabriel is undersized and he's had some issues with that in camp. We'll see. I think it's one of those things where you have to figure out how do you reconcile the decision to draft him and then either cut or trade him, because you have every chance. You have every chance to just not dress him. He will be a practice squad non-contributor, if that's what you want him to be. But what's the point of that? right? What's the point of it?
Yeah,
And
I don't understand the concept of draft him just to put him on the practice squad or not use him. And I'm not saying
to
he's
make
not a
him
star.
inactive.
Yeah, like I just don't get that. I mean, you're paying him, the contract that goes with his draft slot, which obviously isn't as much as a first rounder. It's far less than that. But I don't know, man. This is where I say, like, the Browns are going to brown, man. They're not a good team for a reason, and they should have won a lot more than they have in recent memory with the players that they had. And, the real problem is that now that division's gotten much better with what the Steelers have done, and the Ravens are the Ravens, obviously. So I just, I sit here and I'm just like, dude, like, how long is this organization going to be mediocre at the quarterback position? Like I can understand starting Joe Flacco and riding him until he probably gets injured. I highly doubt that Joe can play a full season. I think that's a lot to ask of a guy his age. But, if like, does Shedeur Sanders see time or early in the preseason? Early, in that first or second game of preseason games, right? Like, that's my question. Like, you look at, Trey Lance with the Chargers has sort of reinvented himself and is going to get the first half of the Hall of Fame game and then one possession in the third quarter, and is apparently doing really well there. Apparently, like, Shedeur's never going to see that much time, and that's what I find difficult. Is like, that's the whole point of the preseason, is to weed out which guy's not going to be there and to move them along.
And you look at the struggles of a guy like J.J. McCarthy, who can't seem to figure out that you can't throw every ball as hard as you can throw it.
Mm-hmm.
Like, there's tape of KO yelling and screaming at McCarthy. And then yesterday in practice with Jefferson out, he absolutely stank. Like, he was terrible. Yesterday was not, I believe it was yesterday or the day before, was not a good day for J.J. McCarthy because he's not a natural at the NFL level, right? He's going to have to learn. Shedeur Sanders is natural. And my question is, can you afford to cut him and just have him sign with somebody else? Is that a good business decision? Probably not, but isn't that what the Browns are known for? Bad business decisions.
Yes.
I think it probably is.
Yes.
I think it probably is. And we'll see. Eric Waskowski, Lions finally figured it out with a new owner. Maybe that's what they need. There's no question. The Browns, the Bengals, Trey Hendrickson is going to report to camp tomorrow. No new contract. So he's going to hold in, which, can you blame him? Terry McLaurin, the same thing with the Commanders, holding in. Can you blame him? Like, bad ownership. You look at the teams, the Dallas Cowboys, Jerry Jones the other day talking about Dak Prescott not being here because he's hurt. Like, he's actually healthy, but you're assuming. Like, bad owners continue to do bad owner things. And it's why Baker Mayfield's in Tampa and not in Cleveland. It's why Deshaun Watson got paid to play like 4 snaps for the Browns, right? Like, you make bad decisions and you allow your general manager, who now it appears was at odds with you and wanted to draft Shedeur much earlier, then he shocked you and drafted him on Saturday when you were driving home. That is the idiocy of this organization. No, he's not looking pretty good. JJ does not look pretty good. He has no touch on the ball, right? Like, he throws at JJ McCarthy. I'm assuming you're talking about free Harbaugh. He throws every ball as hard as he can throw it. And so what's happening is he's unable to take a linebacker and move him and then throw a ball with touch over that window. So I'm not saying he's going to suck, but are they going to go to the playoffs if JJ McCarthy isn't vastly improved? Probably not. Probably not. Right? You look at the situation in Indianapolis with Daniel Jones. And now they're saying that Anthony Richardson is ahead of Daniel Jones in the quarterback competition. We know how this movie ends because we've seen it 100 times.
Mm-hmm.
Anthony Richardson's not an NFL quarterback. Right? So again, I think it is going to be very interesting to see how it all plays out. And if you're an NFL team that doesn't have a quarterback, and at this point, I mean, you're not going to be a contender, but I don't know that Shedeur needs to be a contender. Right? I mean, he's a guy that I think Just has to bide his time and wait for an opportunity.
Agreed.
And I don't know that happens. But we'll see. Don't want to talk about all the interceptions Caleb's been throwing. Well, he's learning a new offense. What's JJ McCarthy's excuse? He's had the playbook for 18 months. Hello? Right? Like, I have no concerns when you have a vastly different cast of coaches, a whole new language. Like Caleb threw an interception. He had a wide receiver go out and go to the sideline. He threw it in on a play where he threw it exactly where it was supposed to go. The receiver missed the call and went out instead of in. Is that Caleb's fault? I think he's thrown 4 interceptions on deep balls in training camp. Do we really care about go get it deep balls? Like, he's learning an offense. The whole offense is learning an offense. It's so funny to me that you can't just focus on your own team. You got to always talk about Barack Obama, right? Like, that's who you are.
Yeah.
What does Caleb Williams have to do with JJ McCarthy? Because ain't nobody taking JJ McCarthy over Caleb Williams. What is one got to do with the other? Like, it's so funny to me that, and this is Detroit sports in general. Like, you're fucked if you're a Tigers fan.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you are in a tailspin. You are not going to win.
Yeah, what was that about?
Best team, first team,
first team to 60 wins.
Nice, who are you, the Red Wings? Like, you're in a position where you guys get close, but just can't pull it off, right? Like, it is very interesting to me that I'm talking about JJ. You bring up JJ McCarthy. I'm not even talking about the North, right? Like, we're talking about Shedeur Sanders in Cleveland. You bring up JJ McCarthy. I tell you what the media in Minnesota has been reporting, and you're like, oh, well, talk about the interceptions. You weren't, like, what'd you say? Focus on the whole division, man. Bro, you're out of your mind. That's not at all what you were trying to say. You were trying to be a red ass because JJ McCarthy's an average ass quarterback who cheated to a championship in college. Immediately pissed himself when he got to the NFL, so they put him on the injured list for the whole year. And he's had the same exact playbook with this same exact language and still can't figure it out. He's not year 1, he's year 2 in training camp. He's known the verbiage, he's been in the system, he's been in the room, he's had the iPad for 18 months. Can't figure it out. Okay, you do you, man. A QB that is no one is talking about and is lighting up in training camp? Michael Penix Jr. Well, because he plays for Atlanta. There are 0 expectations on the Atlanta Falcons.
Yeah, I think you meant to say buddy in Dallas, Joe Milton. That's what you meant to say.
I don't know. I think people get so upset about and have an inability to talk openly about their football teams. And we always talk about this. You got to take the emotion out of it. I'm a Chicago Bears fan, but I damn well know that Caleb Williams and Ben Johnson have spent, I think this is their 7th day on the football field together, including OTAs and training camp.
Process is just beginning, bro.
Like, there's no way, especially when you have, what do they have? 13 wide receivers in camp. How many of those dudes know the playbook? Clearly not, because the go out there. I think it's on Twitter. I would assume he threw a ball right to the hash on an in route, and the wide receiver had turned right to go to the sideline. And what immediately happened? Antoine Randall went right over that wide receiver. But should we talk about the 4 or 5 spectacular, 30-yard window throws that Caleb's made? But who's he throwing that ball to? DJ Moore, who they've been together now for over a year. They've been together in the same system. They speak the same language, right? So you can't get too high or too low. You get worried when your quarterback can't adjust, right? And the other day, the fan in Minneapolis was talking about how the coaching staff loudly cheered JJ McCarthy on a 4-yard completion. Why did they loudly cheer him on a 4-yard completion? Because he was looking left or was looking right and threw it back left, which he had not been able to do to this point. He made the right read and completed a 4-yard pass, and the coaching staff cheered. I'd be worried if I were J.J. McCarthy. If I'm a Michigan fan and that POS of a human being is just now figuring out a 4-yard throw left, I'd be a little worried about that. Yeah. Maybe the San Diego, we rent space from the Rams and have a lying scumbag as a head coach. Maybe they'll sign him when he's done in Minnesota. Probably too much. I'm just saying. Does Shedeur Sanders ever start a game for the Cleveland Browns? No.
I would be shocked.
Okay.
Because I agree. If the owner's saying that, I mean, what,
Yeah. Gabriel says, whoa. Loudly cheer. Come on, Minnesota. It was a moment. Everybody wrote about it. They were talking about it on the Fan this morning. Like, I'm listening because I listen to different sports radio across the country to try and keep up with headlines. And there's not very much good sports radio, just saying it out there. But, it was Score North this morning that I was listening to, was talking about that the jury is out on J.J. McCarthy as a franchise quarterback because he just isn't that guy yet. And he's not Michael Penix Jr., who clearly is that guy. He's not Caleb Williams. He's not Jalen Daniels. He's not that guy. He's very much an Anthony Richardson type situation where he needs to show he can learn, grow, and evolve into an NFL quarterback. Because the hardest thing to learn, frankly, in the NFL, the hardest thing to learn is how to move defenders. How do you manipulate, as a rookie quarterback, how do I manipulate the defense? I think it's one of the most difficult things to learn. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
Big Daddy Magic, Buffalo Bills are salt of the earth. I'm not sure what that means. I don't know what that means, but it's fine. Mapes says the Niners have an easy schedule, but injuries and how well all the rookies play will determine if they're a playoff team or not. No. You overpaid your quarterback who now has a baby.
And will CMC stay healthy?
You don't have depth. You have no depth.
Yeah.
You have spent so much money. You way overpaid the quarterback. I think that is this. He needs to be an MVP candidate or that team's not going to win. He has to be one of the best quarterbacks in the entire league, Brock Purdy now, because of how much of that salary cap you're giving him. I think it is one of the fascinating stories. And I am shocked. Well, I guess I'm not. I think John Lynch, the jury is out on whether he can build a football team or not.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Like, nobody cares in that division if the Cardinals are good. Like, Marvin Harrison Jr. is going to be unbelievable. That's going to be a mediocre team. Right? Look how much you paid the tight end. Look what you're paying verticality. Like, little dudes getting paid.
Right.
The question is Matthew Stafford physically capable of playing an entire season at a high level? Because if he is, that Rams team's going to be a problem. And how good's Brock Purdy with all that money going to be? Because it's a little scary when you hand a guy that kind of money and you haven't won. And he has a baby, and guys either boom or bust right after they have a baby. There's a lot of data out there about professional athletes in prime positions, which means golfers, quarterbacks, pitchers, sluggers. How do they do after they have a baby? Well, Scotty Scheffler, what happened to Scotty Scheffler after he had a baby? I cut my hand somehow. Missed a bunch of time. Oh, I need to get serious about this golf thing again. And then he went on an incredible run. But I'm just telling you now, Brock Purdy's a huge question. And I still cannot believe the money they paid him.
Yeah.
It's
either overpay the guy, or don't have a quarterback.
Yeah.
So
Simmer down now. Okay. I'll simmer down. Chad Perling, the Monty test. I'm a Packer fan. Take your emotions out of it. Well, it's all about Jordan Love, right? I mean, it is.
Allegedly, they should be better. Allegedly.
Well, I mean, they should be significantly. But my question is, what does that defense look like? That's always the Packers' problem. I mean, you can Favre or, ayahuasca dark hole shitter guy. Doesn't matter who your quarterback's been. This is an Aaron Rodgers ball. Anyway, doesn't matter who your quarterback's been.
Yeah, I've been immunized.
Look how inconsistent the defense has been. And now you've completely flipped that script. They should be in contention for the division. If we're being honest, I think Detroit's the best team in the division still. I think the Packers will be second, and I think the Bears will push for a playoff spot and could potentially overtake the Packers. It just depends on who's healthy. Caleb's got to throw for 4,500 yards and 30 touchdowns. It's as simple as that, right? Like, I think we know the issues. Detroit's got to get healthy. You've got to replace pretty much an entire coaching staff. And at some point, the Packers are going to make or break, right? I mean, that's the hard part. How good is Matthew Golden? Is he the same guy he was in college? Because if you are, nobody's covering that dude, right? And I think Jordan Love has already, he's talked about him. He's certainly thrown him the football, right? I mean, he looks spectacular. That's the kind of talent with a quarterback like Jordan Love who throws the deep ball well. That's the kind of talent that can win you a division. Because that's the guy who midway through the fourth quarter in a game where it's like 24-21, 3rd and 11, he busts you off for like 70 yards and a touchdown. And you wind up winning that game 28-24. Because then they got to throw the ball down the field like 2.5 minutes to go. You pick them off and you run the clock.
Right.
That's Packer football. And I think the question is Matthew Golden that guy, and can Jordan Love stay healthy? Because now I think there's questions about that too. But, babies didn't seem to hurt Phillip Rivers. Well, he's a Hall of Famer too. I mean, didn't win a thing, Big Daddy Magic. Timothy, I hope your quarterback does really good, and I only wish him harm when he plays the Buffalo Bills. Okay. Now we're going to go from Victor Wembanyama to the Buffalo Bills.
What did you expect?
I don't know.
Timothy.
Don't obsess so much on one thing. Talk more football than just Josh Allen. Because now he's got that piece of ass with a ring on it. Let's see what he does.
Mm-hmm.
Probably too much. Any news on how T-Mac is looking? Well, Tracy McGrady's retired now.
But he is going to be joining NBC's coverage of the NBA. So,
He is. Big Blue Horse says, JJ is most likely a journeyman type quarterback. Doubtful he's top 15 by season's end. I just don't think he's ever been that guy. He's got a fine arm, Nightmare says, Big Daddy Magic, Victor's the way. I don't think anybody questions whether Victor's the way. I think more the question is, how fat is Luka Doncic? Oh,
dude.
Okay, here's the last Luka we saw.
Fat.
Right? I mean,
fat.
You could feed babies with those things. And
my name is Luca.
There was an interesting stat on, I'm almost embarrassed to say this. There was an interesting stat on NBA radio. Just move on.
If you guys ever want to kick it, we'll flow.
We'll hang out and listen to NBA radio. Luka Doncic doesn't dunk anymore. So what's the video we're seeing in Slovenia right now? Yeah, the video we're seeing in Slovenia right now is fat ass ain't so fat, and he's dunking a basketball. And what's the question everybody's asking? Hey, bro, is that cardio or the pen? Do you care if this is an Ozempic style makeover?
Yes.
You do.
But no, I don't think it's an Ozempic style makeover.
Bro, here's fast?
The problem.
He's got a beer chin.
Here's the problem.
Call him a St. Bernard.
I agree. Here's the problem. What did we just talk about? Ozempic eats muscle, dude. This guy hasn't lost any muscle. He does not look.
Ozempic eats muscles when A, you don't have any muscle. But B, how do you get muscle? How do you have muscle definition like this? Well, one, they airbrushed it. It has to be.
Yeah, of course.
But also, you get muscle when you lift weights and do a bunch of cardio. Right. So you look at some of the photos of Tubby being not so tubby, and quickly you realize maybe he is,
because he's never been cut. That's not Luka. He's never. This was the Devin Booker conversation from like 4 years ago,
bro.
Right? Like he's never been like super ripped cut NBA guy. He's always been naturally gifted, incredible player, but not ever been like in elite condition, that way.
I don't know that I agree with that. I think when you look at him in his younger years and you see him like on the national team, and you see that he had guns. No guns. Guns. Right? Like he was a different guy. He got fat and happy in Dallas. Oh, I don't know. Could it be that he had a baby? What did I tell you? Right? So you start looking at these pictures in LA. He was fat, dude. There's not another way. Now, is he Oliver Miller fat? No. But he's never been ripped like this.
Fat.
He looks like a freaking tennis player.
Mm-hmm.
And the only thing that I think is, I hope, I don't care what he did, but I think he's probably on the pen. He's doing a ton of cardio and he's lifting weights.
You really think so?
Yes, he's a guy. He looks really thin. Like he looks like a dude that is, he's thin daddy magic.
I know he's thin, dude, but also this is a professional athlete we're talking about here. This is somebody who has access to the best facilities, has access to the best trainers, all the food help you would ever need. Like,
yeah,
he doesn't look thin to me there. He looks built.
Right, which is my point. He was bro, he was the Pillsbury Doughboy last year. He was
Agreed.
Soft.
Yeah.
This dude was never, ever at any point in the last 3 seasons, Luka never, ever looked like this. Look at this picture of him, dude. He's got knee tendons. Wait, he's got knee tendons. This chubby duck never had knee tendons. Right? He had a gut.
Their last game was April 30th.
That's my point. It's July 30th.
So May
90 days.
Yeah, that's, I don't know.
You're telling me he went from chubs to...
Yes, I am.
No way. Not by doing cardio and come on. But you don't just... This is a guy who we joke and call him Luka Doncic. This is a guy that smokes, drinks, eats. I get it. Maybe he stopped that cold turkey. That doesn't explain this. This is a body transformation.
That's why I'm saying,
bro,
that's why I don't think it's the pen, because I think that what he did is I honestly, I think that this happened before the season was over. I think that Luka Doncic got traded and knew he was out of shape, knew he was fat, and he started working on this during the season. And what I think happened here is once the season ended, he didn't stop working out. He doubled down, as Brett Yormark said, and just went ham with it. He's probably, my guess, honestly, that's a really good picture right there. Wait, that one right there.
This is photoshopped.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, this is him. Jake's falling for the Photoshop. This is the problem.
See, like that's a good picture right there.
And I'm getting a picture of Luka.
Pre-trade Luka.
Pre-Laker, pre-trade Luka.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Sorry, bros. You don't have this kind. Do you know how difficult it is to make yourself over from that to this? From that to this.
I don't know.
Look at his shoulders. Look at his upper pectorals right under his collarbone. Bro, they didn't exist here. They didn't exist here They exist here.
I don't know.
They
Let's
exist
consult
here.
The chat. What does the chat think? Because I'm not convinced.
Yeah, I don't know how you could think any other way. Nobody has calves like a 58-year-old mountain bike guy in Park City. That's what I'm saying. You know, maybe he has been working with V-Shred and Dr. Drew. Could be.
Maybe, dude.
Right? Like Patty Pimblett in the UFC does that all the time, right? But the problem is that's a cut.
Yeah, that's different, dude. UFC fighters are ridiculous.
Yeah, fighters who cut weight. Nah, I'm telling you, I don't buy it. I don't buy it. Capazzo, if Luka quit drinking the beer, he could drop that much weight easily. And right, it's not. But you guys,
it's not just the weight.
It's not the weight.
Looks,
but you don't put on that much muscle. Lean. Do you know how hard it is to add lean muscle? Do you guys understand how difficult it is to go from this to this in probably 80 days based on when these pictures were taken? Do you know how difficult that is? That's almost impossible without some help.
I think the cover photo on the magazine, I agree with you. There is a lot of editing going on here. He's gotten some help there.
He's got the arms. You can see it.
He has the arms, but in that picture, to me, this picture makes him look skinnier than he actually is. I think the lunging photo is a very proper representation of he looks strong there. He does not look too skinny, because those photos of like celebrities where, it's publicly known that they're on the pen and like they just look they look like sickly skinny. Like this to me it very well could be. And again, you never know how you're going to react to the pen. It's different for everybody.
Mm-hmm.
But this could be, hey, you hit the pen for a month or 6 weeks. And you just dropped a quick 25-30, right?
Yeah, I have trouble buying it.
And then you got in shape. Like I guess the difference is I just feel like this dude is one of the most potent athletes in the world when he wants to be. And this guy got traded in the middle of the night, took it personally, then got his ass shamed in LA for being out of shape, and now has fully embraced it and has access to everything he needs. I mean, how much weight do you think he's lost here? I mean, what was there was
he's probably lost 30 pounds, 35 pounds. I mean, from this right here.
Yeah.
He's lost 30, 35
So if
pounds.
I said to you, okay, so let's presume that this transformation only took place after the season. Lakers' last game was April 30th. The next day he started his transformation. So we'll give him, I agree, let's give him 80 days.
Mm-hmm.
30 pounds in 80 days.
You have to have help to have that kind of muscle mass added. And some of it is he shedded fat. He shed the fat. So the muscle automatically shows through better.
Right.
But to have it that tight and to be able to do the things he's doing when he was complaining of knee pain last year, come on. I don't know. I think it's much more he got dumped by the Mavericks, felt sorry for himself, went Luka Doncic on the second floor.
Yep.
Finished the season in LA, probably had some donuts, probably drank a bunch of whiskey and beer, went back to Slovenia, paid a guy a bunch of money to train him. They work out. He's been playing basketball every day and doing cardio and functional cardio. And I have to think he's on the pen of some kind. I mean,
yeah.
I just, you don't see this very often.
Okay, so let's say that he is on the pen. Do you think that he adds weight when the season comes back around? Will 20 games in, is he starting to look a little soft?
Well, there's some people who believe that there is a dedication to win a championship with LeBron in LA next year. That Luca wants to win a championship with LeBron. And that he is focused on it, and he is hearing the words of, hey, we don't think he can be anything but a fat ass overweight hookah smoker, so we traded him to LA. And I think he wants to win a championship. And then I think all bets are off. I think that fat ass is at the buffet every single night. Probably too much. A little too harsh.
What's up, motherfuckers?
Yeah, a little too harsh. Zion is on track to be one of the biggest disappointments to draft position in NBA history. Can't stay trim and can't stay healthy.
I actually think he already is, dude.
I think he is that already.
Cemented. Yeah.
He's in Anthony Bennett land.
Yeah.
I would agree with that. Capazzo, if you're using the right supplements, eating correctly, and hitting the gym twice a day, you can put on that type of muscle. Yeah, I don't buy it. How do you burn the fat? It's not possible to burn that much fat, put on that much muscle while doing enough cardio to burn that much fat. It's not possible. You know how difficult it would be to do that much cardio and put that much muscle on, because the cardio is going to eat that muscle, and especially that lean muscle. That's really difficult.
Yeah.
Right. And I understand the videos are out now. The magazine spread's out now. He's doing plyometrics and he's doing weighted lunges and side-by-sides, and I totally get it. Totally get it. There's a track, component of his workouts. Totally get it. Okay. If you do that much cardio, you're not putting on that much muscle. If you're going to burn that much fat, you got to do that much cardio. It doesn't math. Right? It just doesn't math.
Yeah.
That's the hard part. And I think what's interesting is it's going to be very difficult just to turn off your want to eat. How do you stop eating? Oh, that's right. You hit the pen.
It's a fair point. That's a fair point.
Right?
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see, man. There's still a big part of me that believes he has access to things we'll never have access to. The environments that he gets to work out in and the way he gets to go about those workouts is totally different than the average Joe. You know, he's got every trainer he'd ever need, best facilities, like everything. And I agree with you. The appetite thing is a really good point, right? I mean, this is somebody that we know eats a ton and,
has talked about it.
So the appetite suppression would be incredibly valuable for a guy like him who's trying to cut and get in really good shape. But we'll see. I think the defining thing here will be what he looks like 20 games into the season when he doesn't have all day to work out, and where it's, basically, go to morning shoot around, come back to the hotel, have your meal, take your nap, come back, have your pregame meal, and then, you're right back in it again. That will be the defining thing, because guys like him who get a little out of shape during the season, and I said a little being nice, a lot out of shape for a guy like him, franchise caliber player getting out of shape, he's got an eating problem. There's no question about it. So, that's what I think will really be the defining thing. Does he stay in shape the whole season? Because if he does, they're going to be a problem. But if he doesn't, they're going to be the same team they've always been.
And I also think this is a very unique summer because he doesn't have national team commitments. So, and if you read the article in Men's Health, the thing that's very clear is he took a month without touching a basketball. Okay, in that month, you transformed his body. You can't transform your body like that in a month. I think it's a very big question. I think it's a very big question. Is this because you remember a guy like LeBron doing the same thing. LeBron was a little too heavy. He was having back issues. He was having groin issues.
At one point.
Yeah, he was too heavy. So what did he do? He went to David Alexander in Miami and completely remade his body over 18 months. 18 months. Not 3 months, not 80 days, 18 months. So we'll see. Yeah, America, we got to eat. Yeah, we got the eats. That's right. Do you think today's player doesn't put importance on being in playing shape at the start of the season? No, not at all. I think guys like Kevin Durant, I follow Devin Booker closely. That guy plays ball every day. Like you look at Jordan Clarkson, I don't know who's been following Jordan Clarkson. That dude is in the lab. That is a motivated basketball player right now. These guys you can't get out of shape in the NBA, or you wind up like Luca and Zion. Right? You're in trouble. Luka Doncic was a cement block last year defensively and couldn't dunk, couldn't get to the basket. Look how bad since he stopped taking care of himself. Look at his 3-point percentage.
Mm-hmm.
That's something a lot of people pointed out, right? I mean, it's one of those things where you don't just, You know, one of the things they talked about in this article was that he wasn't eating until 1 o'clock in the afternoon. 8 at night, 1 o'clock in the afternoon. Like they tweaked it a little bit. And intermittent fasting is simply how many calories you eat in what window. That doesn't cut this fat and build that muscle.
Mm-hmm.
Like, and it's okay. I don't necessarily care that he uses whatever he uses.
No, I think the question is more long-term. If he's on the pen to make this cut, the weight's going to come back in some form or fashion.
Yeah. Yeah. I think it is. I think it is. The nutrition thing, trust me, as somebody who's weeble wobbled my way through weight loss and weight gain. When I've lost weight, I eat exponentially more protein. I eat fewer times during the day. I sleep more. Obviously, sleep is a huge deal. But it's also because you're working out and you're consuming fewer calories. So you can, and one of the great fallacies, and I think science agrees with this, one of the great fallacies about intermittent fasting is, oh, you just got to eat in this window. And you can do whatever you want. Not true. Well, you can intermittent fast, which means you eat from noon to, 5 o'clock, 8 o'clock, whatever it is. You eat from noon to 8 o'clock, then you don't eat for 16 hours. Well, what are you doing? You're eating all your calories in that window. And Luca said in this article, or they said in this article, that he was eating, seemed like something 200 plus grams of protein, like 250 grams of protein. Well, you're a professional athlete. That's not.
That feels like it's in line.
Yeah, that's what you should be eating. Right. So I think it's just this whole thing where he needs to be in shape when the ball goes up in training camp. And then they need to win a championship, and nobody's going to care what pen he used, what pill he took, allegedly, if he did, or in fact, nobody's going to care how you got there. Nobody's going to care. I just don't, in my opinion, believe that he did this just 100% naturally. Right.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know.
I just think that he has a lot of help. That's my take, is that maybe the pen was involved. I don't think he's still on the pen. Maybe there was a month, 6 weeks there where they used it to jumpstart it, cut that fat down quick, and then we're going to build you back up as fast as possible for the season. Some form or fashion.
Yeah.
But I don't think that, with all the side effects that we know the pen causes, with the crapper, like I just think that
with the crapper,
I just think that a professional athlete, can't sustain that in season. That's just not realistic.
100%.
And I think that these guys, it's my biggest gripe with athletes, dude. They have access to everything you could ever want. Like they've got the time, they've got the facility.
But that's what that's what I wish I had.
Like.
If my job was like golf, for instance, like you see all these professional golfers now who have personal trainers and they pay them a bunch of money. And like, if all I had to do was work out and hit a golf ball straight, I would be probably 100 pounds lighter than I am now.
Mm-hmm.
There's no doubt about it. Right. If I'm a professional basketball player and I'm LeBron James, yeah, you're damn right. I'm paying millions of dollars a year into my body.
Yeah.
Like that's what I wish I could do. If I could be anything, I'd be a professional golfer and I'd make tens of millions of dollars a year. And a lot of it would go to my body. Hell yeah, I would be in great shape. I would love to. But the reality is I'm fat. I'm old. I'm not a professional athlete. And I got to make 45 minutes a day to go to the gym. Right. That's the difference. But sugar is evil. Signed Vinny T. Totally agree.
Yeah.
So Mrs. Monty and I were talking about this saturated fat thing. Because tomorrow, again, is thumb in the butt day. And actually, he never does that. I don't know why I say that.
Because it's funny.
Yeah, I never get my prostate checked. I don't have any symptoms. But he asks me every year. He asks me, does the flag still run up the pole? No. Is your prostate leaking? Yeah. Knock on wood, it's not. But, legit, I think the only reason that I don't have like high cholesterol and heart problems is I don't eat saturated fat. I don't eat like cured meat, or I occasionally will have lunch meat or a charcuterie tray, but that's twice a year maybe. My saturated fat's like smoked cheddar cheese from Milwaukee like that's it, like once a month, once every 6-8 weeks. That's the key. Like sugar will absolutely kill you. But I stopped. I used to have an orange juice every day. One orange juice first thing in the morning. And I just started looking at the numbers. It's all sugar. So now I'm a little neurotic about it.
Mm-hmm.
But that's it. I don't drink sugar. I really don't eat much. I don't eat candy. Have an occasional Snickers bar. Don't really eat. You know what my weakness is sugar-wise? Cookies.
Mm-hmm.
Dude, I love cookies.
Yeah.
You give me a good chocolate chip cookie, dude.
Yeah, the assortment box at Costco.
Oh.
Dude, that's so good.
So I haven't had Costco chocolate chip cookie. I had that one day. The hot chocolate chip cookie up front.
Yeah.
I even texted Jake about it. It was so good. Haven't been back because it's really messy. But two, it's so decadent. You want more.
Mm-hmm.
Self-loathing Catholics have weight issues. Yes, we do. Yes, we do.
But see, that's my point about this, this whole physical thing and, this Luca conversation. I just don't think that, like, even Luca doesn't need to go on a pen, right?
No.
Like, he didn't need to, assuming that he did. Like, he's got a professional athlete should never have to do that. That should never, ever be a thing. Like, even if you're a bench guy, like, you have access to the facility 24/7, dude. Like, it's a secure facility not available to the public. And you're not in there just abusing that facility.
Yeah.
Like, that's wild to me, bro.
Yeah.
Like, can you imagine being a college golfer and having
my God.
The facility is available to you 24/7.
Dude.
Like, bro.
Come on. Monty sounds jealous. Fucking right.
Who's
Absolutely.
not?
100%
Who's
jealous.
not?
Are you kidding me? If I could be a professional athlete, I'm jealous. San Diego State Glenn, Monty wobbles, but he won't fall down. That's a take on a very old commercial. Yes, it is. Funny thing is, we just joked the other day, I never fall down. They are so good. Manna from heaven, dude.
Yeah,
peanut butter cookies.
Dude. Yeah.
I love the peanut butter cookies, Mike. Had some today. Oh, man, I would love. All right. Prize Picks, the official daily fantasy partner of the Monty program. Last night was a bad beat. The winning streak came to an end last night. Finally lost on Prize Picks. Kyle Schwarber and Matthew Boyd let me down. So we got to bounce back tonight. Jake, you won last night, right?
2 or 3. 2 or 3 last night.
That paid.
Let me pull it back up. Paid $28.
No, nothing wrong with that.
All
right, Cubs and Brewers start tonight. Cubs lost game 1 last night because, they can't get anybody out.
Mm-hmm.
Colin Ray tonight, 4 pitcher strikeouts. He did it against Boston and Minnesota. I don't trust Colin Ray. I don't trust it. I'm going to stay away from strikeouts tonight. Milwaukee's throwing Quinn Priester.
Yeah, I'm going to take Quinn Priester less than 16.5 outs.
You are?
Yeah, I think they'll get to him.
All right. I think I'm going to go Pete Crow Armstrong more than 1.5 hits, runs, RBIs. And I think
the Manny Machado 1.5 hits, runs, RBIs is pretty much a gimme against the Mets.
Yes, I think that is very true.
Man, I want to take Kyle Schwarber, but damn.
What?
I mean, he just let me down last night, dude. He didn't do anything. Like,
Taco Tuesday, Kikuchi for the Angels, 4.5 pitcher strikeouts.
Yeah, but look at his number. It's not a gimme.
It's not a gimme at all.
Like that, I'm not taking that.
Yeah, I think I'm going to pass on that Taco Tuesday.
Yeah, that's not at all
I don't love that. Man, tonight's a tough one. For a Tuesday night in Major League Baseball, this is a tough one. I think I'll stick with hits, runs, and RBIs because if I look at, these are brutal numbers. Who hates me? Like even Jake McCarthy is 1.5, but they're already started for the rest of the game. He's 1.5. This is going to be rough. See, this is the tough day. I think you got to go Bryce Harper. but they don't give you much to work with. Do you go runs, 1.5 runs? No. Total bases, 1.5 total bases? I think you probably do.
Already in progress, Ellie De La Cruz, half a hit runner RBI.
Really?
And that's a demon. So, you could do that. Ohtani's still available.
Does Kyle Schwarber go deep?
I mean, I want to say yes, but he didn't yesterday.
Well, that's what makes you think he will.
Yeah.
That's what makes you think he will.
Brandon Marsh for a hit runner, 1.5 hits, runs.
This is really difficult today, you guys.
Yeah, this is not easy today.
Seth Lugo against Atlanta, 4.5. That's tough.
Of course you could take. I think you should take Ronald Acuna Jr. He's playing Kansas City. Starts in 9 minutes. Had 6 hit runner RBI yesterday against them.
You're kind of talking me into the Fathers against the Mets.
Yeah, that's what I'm going to do. I took Machado, 1.5 hits, runs, and RBIs more against the Mets. I'm taking Quinn Priester for less than 16.5 outs against the Cubs. And I'm going to take Ronald Acuna Jr. on a demon for 3.5 hits, runs, and RBIs.
I might be going Lindor here.
20 to win 120 on a flex.
On a flex, 20 to win 120.
If all 3 are correct.
I might be going. Okay, this is, you guys want to know the level of desperation that your boy is dealing with?
Mm-hmm.
Ryan Bergert. Yeah, I think not. I'm going to have to go Francisco Lindor. I'm going to go Lindor more than 1.5.
Okay.
Hits, runs, and RBIs. I'm going to go Bryce Harper more than 1.5 total bases. And I'm going to go Pete Crow Armstrong more than 1.5 hits, runs, and RBIs. 20 to win 60. Boom.
There you go.
Done. Let's go. There you go. Prize Picks, you guys. Download the Prize Picks app. Use the promo code Monty to open a new Prize Picks account. You deposit $5, they'll give you 50 more in plays. You can play $55 the entire football season. It is the best daily fantasy promo we've ever seen. Hook it up. Prize Picks, America's favorite daily fantasy app. Hello to everybody listening on X today. This might be a record-setting day. I'd have to go back and look. We have 56,000 people watching on the X platform right now.
Let's go.
Appreciate everybody on X. Make sure you give us a like. A retweet would be great. If you could hook that up, that'd be good. And then make sure you come over to YouTube. Find the Monty Show on YouTube. There's a link up in the bio here on X. If you are watching on YouTube, please give us a like. And then let's go a little Donnie. Because what do you guys okay. How does Donald Trump get away from this Epstein thing? Because this bite from Donald Trump might be one of the most shocking things that I have heard him say. And I'll play it for you, and then we'll react to it. But this is one of the most shocking things I've ever heard Donald Trump say in regard to Jeffrey Epstein.
Mr. President, Epstein has a certain reputation, obviously. But just curious, were some of the workers that were taken from you, were some of them young women?
Were some of them
young women?
Well, I don't want to say, but everyone knows the people that were taken. And it was the concept of taking people that work for me is bad. But that story's been pretty well out there. And the answer is yes, they were.
Yes, they were young women?
What did they do? In the spa.
In the spa?
Yeah, people that work in the spa. I have a great spa, one of the best spas in the world at Mar-a-Lago. And people were taken out of the spa, hired by him. In other words, gone. And other people would come and complain, this guy is taking people from the spa. I didn't know that. And then when I heard about it, I told them, I said, listen, we don't want you taking our people, whether it was spa or not spa. I don't want him taking people. And he was fine. And then not too long after that, he did it again. And I said, out of here.
Mr. President, did one of those stolen, persons, that include Virginia Jeffrey?
I don't know. I think she worked at the spa. I think so. I think that was one of the people. Yeah. He stole her.
Wow. Donald Trump just admitted a link to one of the most well-known victims in the Epstein case. He just now confirmed that at one of Epstein's largest victims, meaning evidence-wise, meaning crimes alleged, crimes confirmed, that Epstein met that girl, or somebody affiliated to him met that girl at Mar-a-Lago and took her from there. Like, are you surprised he would say that to a press pool?
I mean, a little bit. Yeah, I think that it's my take on the Epstein thing for Donnie is that it's just such a deep conversation. Like, there are so many ways to where he could misspeak about it and put himself in a bad spot that, day after day, month after month, like you're having to constantly watch what you say about it because obviously you don't want to misstep and sort of, self-incriminate in the public eye, if you will. You don't want to say something that people are like, oh, well, so you did this and that. And then people start connecting the dots and stuff. And I think that's kind of what this was a little bit like, hey, yeah, she worked in the spa at Mar-a-Lago and that's where he got her. And so then like people start asking questions, and that's where I come back to, I don't know if he ever gets away from this. I think it would be incredibly difficult. I mean, I think the problem is this is one of those topics where the stakes are so high that people aren't just going to write it off to, we should stop talking about it or
let's move on.
Let's move on. And the problem really is, if you really want to get serious about it, is that this is not it's not just like CNN's covering this, obviously. Like, you've got conservative voices, you've got, people all across the political spectrum talking about this. And that's what's really difficult. And I do think that, Joe Rogan's popularity has gone down in the recent months. We've talked about that on the show, but he's still a heavy hitter. There's no question. And the fact that he is, I guess, seemingly turning on Trump now and questioning things and, really, getting into it, I think it's a dangerous time, man. It's a really dangerous time.
Fewer and fewer people outside of Congress, apparently, but fewer and fewer people are willing to put their reputations on the line over this Epstein thing.
Yeah.
And now you have Donald Trump, the president of the United States, on the record admitting he was aware that Jeffrey Epstein was taking young women from his resort. That's wild to me that he would say that out loud. And you look at this Ghislaine Maxwell stuff today where her attorney submitted a list of demands if she was going to testify in front of Congress. Full immunity was one of the demands. Declined. Absolutely, they said, we will not give you full immunity. She wanted all of the questions to be listed and sent to her ahead of time, and there is to be no counter questioning. Denied. Like, it's wild what Maxwell is asking for.
Yeah, and I think I saw some reporting today that there was some negotiating going on around limited immunity. I agree. That's what I saw too, that full immunity is off the table.
Yeah.
But I think there was, I can't remember, it was a little legalese for me, right? It was a little complicated legally speaking, but there is some conversation around limited immunity based on what she's already been punished for. And so there's some gray area there that I think they will eventually get worked out around limited immunity for her to testify. But she wants
full immunity for any charges that would come out of her testimony.
Yeah. And that's not going to happen.
Yeah.
That's just not going to happen. I think that I do think that they will figure out a way to strike a deal with her to get her to testify. And because what has to happen here, and I don't care who you are, Democrat, Republican, whatever side you're on with this, what has to happen for everybody in the room is there has to be answers to this. This cannot be allowed to fester for years on end as this administration goes through their time. because that's all anyone's going to talk about until it gets figured out. And
yeah,
the real challenge is going to be, well, how does Donald Trump and the administration find their way through the waters versus, like what is the truth of what happened?
I don't think you find your way
difficult.
through. I don't think you find your way through the waters. I think that you cannot. You can't say what he said today. You can't say, yeah, hey, I knew and I've been aware that Jeffrey Epstein or his associates were meeting people at my resort and taking them from me. Like, you can't say that. That's not covered under presidential immunity, right? And you're talking just openly about the fact that, yeah, I knew he took women out of my resort. I think that is crazy. Does he not listen to attorneys? Does he not?
Well, I mean, what do we know? This guy doesn't listen to anybody.
No,
we know
that's
that.
probably true.
I mean, I'm not even hating, but we know that.
Yeah, I think this was a big mistake today.
I mean, this goes back to the infamous, hey, he doesn't read the teleprompter, right? Like, he's got all these speechwriters won't read the teleprompter and then winds up saying things that maybe he would like to take back as an example. But I don't know, man. I think that, like I said, I don't doubt Donald Trump's prowess to work through drama in his life. He's been doing it his whole life. The thing that I doubt is that when you've got like a million different ways to be guilty in this situation, being able to stay innocent, that's what I have trouble with. Is like, and I would be saying the same thing if we were talking about, a younger guy. Like if we were talking about a 50-year-old president in his prime physically and super sharp and great public speaker, I'd be saying the same thing. I think for anybody, this would be incredibly difficult.
And then to say you didn't have the privilege of going to Epstein Island?
Like, I don't care if that was meant to be tongue in cheek
or
not,
sarcastic. You don't say that out loud.
That's not, you can't say that, dude.
Yeah, it's really sad because this is bringing our country down.
Yeah.
There's just no question about it. He's being asked about this stuff in international trade meetings.
Yes.
And press conferences to announce trade deals, which should be a good thing for him. They're not. You look at the issues that Donald Trump is dealing with. This is the one he's got to get on with it, because I just don't think you can fix this. There's no fixing this. There's no spinning this. There's no magic trick for Barack Obama, like your press secretary getting taken apart at the joints on this presidential immunity thing that Donald Trump signed, had the Supreme Court verify. Oh, and then you want to put like, it just doesn't, it makes no sense, right? It makes no sense. He's tried all of these smoke screens. He's tried all of these different policies. None of them have worked to try and distract people. And this Jerome Powell thing, I think that's the other Donnie thing today, that Jerome Powell pretty much is going to probably piss off the world tomorrow when he does not drop the rate again. And the argument now is, who on Trump's economic team is willing to defend dropping the rates? Because the numbers all say in the economy, you shouldn't drop the rate right now. And why shouldn't you drop the rate? Because the uncertainty around tariffs. And now he's I think one of the biggest mistakes he's made is today he threatened a 25% tariff on India, which is the only open route of trade that doesn't have a tariff attached to it. And the strategy was supposed to be let India, who we have really important relations with and really important trade with, let India have the free route of trade and tariff everybody else. Well, now he's threatening 25% tariffs on India. And if that's the case, I think it's absolutely going to be a huge problem for the midterms if he tariffs India, and who knows how long he will keep these tariffs in place, because they're absolutely going to cripple a lot of sectors of our economy. I think we're already seeing that.
Yeah.
It's just been a bad first 6 months. It is not been ideal. And the other thing, did you guys see the drilling number? Did you see the number of rigs in the Gulf of Mexico? There are only 9 rigs in the Gulf of Mexico. A historic low. 9 rigs in the Gulf of Mexico. That's not good. Like, he's just going, and I don't know if he pulls out of this stretch that he's in. He needs some wins.
Mm-hmm.
He needs some wins. I don't know what that looks like, but I think tariffs are starting to really impact the bottom line on people. The fact that we're not drilling, we are in really low drill numbers. The fact that he's not been able to end the Ukraine-Russia war. He threatened Russia again today because they're not doing anything but strengthening their positions and bringing more of their citizens into the military. So you just need a win. Like, you need a gas price to come down. You need drilling numbers to go up. But this deal he's trying to work out with OPEC is not going to make us drill more oil. We're going to become more dependent. So where's the win come from, I guess, is my question.
No idea.
Because you look at the trade deal he did with the EU, that's not built to last. I think that's a huge problem. It's just incredible to me.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see.
And of course, Eric walked right into the honeypot. Bro, we've talked about this repeatedly. If he was connected, then why didn't the Biden administration release the file? Number one, you can't make the argument both ways, because what did Donald Trump, what did Bondi, what did Patel, what are all these guys saying now? Well, Joe Biden fabricated the file. Well, wait. Did he fabricate the file, or was it actually not in their purview because it was sealed?
I mean, if they fabricated the file, why haven't you released it?
And if you fabricated the file, why didn't the Biden administration release it? Because I don't think the Epstein file was on their radar. Who brought the Epstein file onto the national stage? Donald Trump and his Project 2025 guys, who were all out here saying, release the files. We'll release the files. We'll release the files. You're all screwed. We'll release the files. Bill Clinton's in the files. Did you really think Donald Trump wasn't in those files? You really think suing the Wall Street Journal? You really think that the Wall Street Journal and Rupert Murdoch fabricated a story about a letter and a drawing just to poke the bear? Why would they do that? Make that make sense for me. The only way that makes sense is if Rupert Murdoch and Donald Trump are working together. That's the only way it makes sense. There is no logic behind, well, if he's in the files, why didn't Biden release him? There's no win there, dude. There's no there. Because you can't argue Biden fabricated the files and then you're like, well, he didn't release him. Well, what's it going to be?
Yeah.
What's it going to be? The Steele dossier or right? And then you have his emissaries, his attorneys going on CNN saying that Barack Obama fabricated the files. You go on Tapper and you got a Trump guy arguing that Barack Obama's behind this. Epstein wasn't a thing during the Barack Obama administration. You understand that, right? Like all of this happened under Trump's first administration. When did Jeffrey Epstein meet his untimely ending? 2019. Who was president? Donald Trump. Who's been talking about Epstein files? Donald Trump and his guys. And in the playbook, in the Project 2025 playbook, Area 51, Martin Luther King, the Kennedys, and the Epstein files. Well, let's see. The Kennedys, yeah, we got those. Martin Luther King, yeah, we got those. Area 51, yeah, we got those. How come we don't have the Epstein files? Oh, they don't exist. But wait, Biden had them and fabricated them, so they do exist. Why didn't he release them then? Oh, Barack Obama committed treason. Well, wait, you're trying to say Barack Obama committed treason, and you're saying that he committed treason because he was trying to force people to fabricate evidence? There's no evidence he did that. And he actually has 4 press conferences saying exactly what you're accusing him of not saying. There's no there. You're going to have to release the Epstein files. That's the only way out of it. And then if that happens, I don't know that you can save it. I don't know that you can save it.
Yeah.
And no, you can't say your policy is to wait before hyperventilating. Yeah, you don't get that free pass. You don't get. They've lied for 6 months. Tariffs are like, he ran on a platform and fooled you. You believe tariffs were attacks on foreign countries. You don't get the I wait before hyperventilating. If you're a Republican and you're not hyperventilating about the midterms right now,
you should be.
Americans are as poor as they have been. Do you know how many people don't have room on their credit cards? Do you know how many people don't have money in the bank? Do you know how many people can't make their credit card and car payments right now? And now we're going into the third quarter of the year. We're 1 month into the third quarter. What do we get at the end of the third quarter? The economic impact of the tariffs. And Jerome Powell is, and this is the ultimate irony, Jerome Powell is saving your ass right now. Because if you do what Donald Trump wants to do, let's say they do fire Jerome Powell or he resigns. By the way, how'd the Jerome Powell press conference, aha, I got you moment go? When you tried to throw in a completely new building cost onto this atrocity that you say happened in the renovation that actually had nothing to do with his renovation. Nothing. That didn't go well. If you fire Jerome Powell or he resigns and you put your boy in there and he drops it to 1.5%, which is what Donald Trump wants. It's at 4 and whatever. You drop that to 1.5%. Where does inflation go?
I'm sure that'll be Biden's fault too.
Come on, man. You got to release these. You can't fire Jerome Powell as a distraction. You just cannot continue to have a situation where the president of the United States is also running the Department of Interior, the Department of Education, like maybe get his ass out of the Department of Justice and let those people do their job. Because Pam Bondi's about to get whacked as well. How many mistakes is Pete Hegseth going to live through? How many? Nobody. You know what the Epstein file did? It stopped you from talking about the disaster that was the Iranian bombing. That turned out to do very little to implicate or to impact their nuclear program. How many mistakes are you gonna walk away from? Like we need. And I say we as Americans, we need our president to be presidential. We need him to run the country, and he's not. And we can sit here, and the other thing that I keep telling people is, we can sit here and we could talk about how crazy Joe Biden was, and he wasn't running the country. Who the is running the country now? Who's running the country now? Tell the people in Texas, ask them, who do you think's running the country? Hey, tell the people in California. Who's running the country? Because you keep threatening to arrest Gavin Newsom, and you have no fact basis to do that or law to back you up on that. You keep saying that you're not going to give them their federal distribution, and then he keeps telling you, okay, well, then we won't give you our state distribution. The state distribution, if he doesn't pay the state distribution to the federal government goes bankrupt. You understand what I'm saying? Do you understand that with this Jerome Powell thing? And this is the part that I don't think Republican and Trump supporters understand. Do you know what the biggest problem with the Fed rate is right now? Oh, well, Monty, we got national debt. Got to find a way to refi that. Okay, here's my question for you. You drop the Fed rate to 1.5. Oh, we can refi. Well, do you know how federal debt is refinanced? Any idea? Foreign countries buy your debt. So they pay you $10. You're going to pay them $11.50 in return. Here's the problem. You put tariffs on all of the major people who would buy your national debt. China, Russia, Japan, the EU. Who do you think is going to show up to finance your national debt? Do you not, did you guys not, does that not register with you? Does it not register to you that even if we drop the Fed to 1.5, we still have to go out and sell our debt? And the people who have historically bought it, China, don't think they're going to be so willing to help us. Because who's China aligned with? Russia. Do you think Russia right now, when we're threatening them, do you think they're going to buy our national debt? I don't think they are. Do you think Brazil, who you're threatening to put 55% tariff on, unless we stop the prosecution of one of the most corrupt dictators ever, do you think they're going to buy our debt? Because they've bought our debt in the past. I don't think they will. You know, I'm just telling you. It's all this stuff that people who voted for Donald Trump have no idea. He talks about drill, baby, drill. Go look at, it's all on Google, by the way. Go look at how much oil we are drilling right now. Just go check the historic data on how many wells are on the Gulf of America. Go check it and see what you come back with. Because did you guys understand the reason I said Gulf of America right there? Do you know what the people who own the drills on the Gulf call it? They don't call it the Gulf of America. They call it the Gulf of Mexico. And there's 9 platforms out there. 9 working rigs, which is a scary low. So I'm just telling you, you can keep fighting Gavin Newsom and you can keep fighting the people of Texas and you can keep fighting like this stuff in Florida. I could go on.
You can keep coming up with distractions. The reality is that eventually you're going to have to face the music.
Okay, Ferris, you have no idea what I'm talking about then. I never said that Gavin Newsom has control over Californians' federal taxes. I never said that. What I said was California gives distribution to the federal government. As a state, and I apparently, again, because you're a Michigan fan, I think I probably have to explain this to you. States kick down to the federal government. And California's economy, Ferris, maybe you should go look that up. Maybe you should go look that up. So, and we can continue to try and make excuses and gerrymander states and go for it. At some point, you're going to have to win back your voters. Because remember the F you, like, remember that guy? Like, now you're losing Joe Rogan.
Fuck you. Fuck you. You suck.
Remember that guy? Remember that guy?
Mm-hmm.
That's a huge problem.
Yeah.
That is a huge problem. All right. There you have it. Always a pleasure. Eric always makes it so easy to retort, too.
Mm-hmm.
I love it. Release the files, man.
That's what I'm saying, dude.
Release the files.
Like, what are we waiting for?
Release the files. The Monty Show, as always, presented by The Advocates at theadvocates.com. 24/7, 365 at theadvocates.com. Until tomorrow, say goodbye, Jake.
Goodbye, Jake.